What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Renegade Animation on the Renegade Pop Culture Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mike, and joining me, as always, is my co-captain, Cameron.
Howdy, howdy.
And making their Renegade Pop Culture debut, we have Haley.
Hello.
And Teresa.
Hello.
Yeah, today is going to be a very fun, yet very packed episode. This is our winter 2021 anime Vortex. We have 23 new series to get through. But before we get there, we have a couple news stories to talk about. So Cameron, what do we got?
Alrighty, let's get started with the news. First off, we'll have to mourn some losses within the animation world. Beatles animator Ron Campbell passed away at age 81. He was in charge of the Beatles Saturday morning cartoon and was the director of the super iconic and very important to the world of animation film, The Yellow Submarine, which that might sound like I'm kind of mocking it, but it was very important to the world of animation because, there was never quite like a film like The Yellow Submarine back in the 60s. And you could say that even now. So, Mark Wilmore, who was a writer on shows like The Simpsons and F is for Family and The PJs, and he was also a character on The PJs, Walter Burkett, passed away at the age of 57 to COVID. Gosh, hopefully we can kick COVID out into hell. And sadly, we also lost the voice of Adventure Time's Tree Trunks. Polly Lou Livingston passed away at 91, I think. And that was sad. Tree Trunks was such an endearing little character, and Polly Lou sounds like just a nice and great person. And well, I was about to go on, but we lost Cloris Leachman, who was, of course, well known for her live action roles, but she was also the Sky Captain pirate from Castle in the Sky. She was in Ponyo. She was Mike. What was the name of her character in The Croods? She was the old
Mom. She was like the grandma.
Yeah, she was a grandma, and that was sad. And we also lost Christopher Plummer, who, of course, we all know from The Sound of Music, and of course, he was the main villain in Up and in 9, which came out the same year as Up, among other things like Rockadoodle and, of course, 2019's Knives Out. Well, we lost some big names. It's going to keep happening, but may they rest in peace, and their work will live on forever. So we have some Sundance news. We have Riz Ahmed joining the animated documentary Flea, where he will be voicing in the English dub the main character, and Neon will be picking up the film to distribute, which I think this is their first time picking up something animated, which is something new, and it's kind of comes off the heels of A24 picking up Has Been Hotel and some other studio, and I think from what Ruben told me, Magnolia Pictures picked up Crypto Zoo. So we're starting to see a push of more distributors picking up animation like products. Any thoughts about that?
I'm happy that what we asked for a couple of months ago is finally starting to come true. That it's no longer just G Kids carrying the weight of foreign animation.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Teresa or Haley?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always happy when, there's wider distribution of anime. I've kind of surprised it took them this long because Sundance has kind of been leveling up each year, but definitely exciting news.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I'm interested in the part of this where this is another animated documentary. I don't think I've seen one since Waltz with Bashir. There's probably been a couple, but I'm really interested in seeing more films, particularly in that space. So that should be really interesting.
There's an animated documentary film called Another Day of Life that G Kids brought over. I highly recommend that one. It's tough to sit through, but it's just visually stunning and very interesting.
Good to know.
Yeah. Fox has a new film. I mean, not a film, a show coming out called The Nick. which is from Jack Amiel and Michael Begler. And let's see here. So it's also being executive produced by Michael Sugar, who did Spotlight and the OA. And let's see, animation. Bento Box Entertainment, the ones who do Bob's Burgers, Hoops. What was that one that has Amy Poehler in it? I forgot which one that one was called, but
they're Great North too, right?
Yeah, the Great
just started.
Yeah, and like Central Park,
Mm-hmm.
On Apple. So it's titled Cocky. The concept centers on Bert, a ride-share driver with a PhD and no filter, who is the smartest idiot in the world, and the consequences he faces living with the world's most insecure, overly sensitive talking cockatoo. Well, Fox is kind of hit and miss with what they actually invest into with animated shows. If it's not like a Simpsons or Family Guy level hit, they kind of drop it. Or like as big as Bob's Burgers, but they've done better. They're being a little more supportive, but not much else is known about this show. Hope it's good, I guess. Like there's not, like I said, not much else. So the acclaimed animated short, My Life in Mike, what is it? Versailles?
My Life in Versailles.
Yeah, is getting retooled into a TV miniseries with 6 episodes at 26 minutes each, with the support of France Televisions, aimed at kids 6 and up and families. Of course, this is not the first time we've seen a short get turned into an animated series, but always nice to hear about it. The synopsis of the short was: after the death of her parents in 2015's Paris terrorist attacks, the authorities send 8-year-old Violet to live with her uncle Regis, who works as a caretaker at the Palace of Versailles. Yeah, sorry. From the start, she can't stand this gruff man who doesn't like children and never asked to take care of her. So the hot-headed, stubborn little girl decides not to speak to him and runs away whenever she can. But little by little, Regis and Violet get to know each other and grow close, forming a new family. Behind the scenes at the Sun King's palace, Violet finds her feet, her self-confidence, and begins to move on, thanks to Regis, her best friend Malcolm, her kindly social worker, and all of the new friends she makes. It's set to release in 2023, and sounds interesting. I'm curious to see how they tackle this story. It seems kind of loaded, but I'm always down. Europe and France especially usually have a very good track record of just not making stuff aimed directly at kids, or if they do, it has kind of an edge or something substantial to them. So it sounds good to me. All right. So following a monumental 10-book deal with Dark Horse Comics, Unique Studios, the studio behind Iyanu, Child of Wonder, is getting a animated series produced at Triggerfish. So this is a series based on a world of superhero and fantasy stories inspired by African history and mythology. Highly regarded former senior VP of co-productions at DreamWorks, Doug Schwabel, has joined as executive producer and will oversee distribution. I wonder if this got made because of that announcement at that big Disney stream.
It certainly sounds like it, or it could just be a coincidence. But I do like the concept art so far.
Yeah, I think it looks cool, and well, of course, with the whole push with Black Panther with that universe getting extended into a sequel and a TV show. Afrofuturism, it sounds like it's going to be a big thing now, which I'm down for. Any thoughts? Y'all okay?
Yeah, the more people in the game is better.
Yeah.
More producers. Definitely on the American side, there's a lot of monoliths, so I like the competition between DreamWorks and Disney and all that.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be fun to see what happens, and with the animation world becoming more inclusive and such. So we finally have our first look at Locksmith Animation in 20th Century's film Ron's Gone Wrong, after 500 million different delays and just any lack of anyone talking about it or caring about it. Sorry for that. So we just have a picture of our main character and the robot that we see. So
I would buy 100 copies of a doll of that robot, but I also don't know what this is about at all. It seems like a kind of complicated concept reading about it.
yeah,
Or maybe it's just because it's so vague, the description we got.
it kind of sounds like it's going to be like a next gen kind. If I don't know if anybody's seen that animated film from 2018 on Netflix. So who knows? Netflix probably didn't market it well. Yeah, no, we talked about this a few weeks ago about like in our like what to look forward to this year, and it was just like kind of hard to be looking forward to it when it sounds like Mitchell versus the Machines and every other like tech gone wrong kind of thing storyline that we've gotten. But this is a first time studio, so hopefully it's good. So we finally have some information about the next DC animated film because the first one we saw was Batman: Soul of the Dragon. We now have Justice Society World War II, where the plot goes. We find modern day Barry Allen prior to the formation of the Justice League, discovering he can run even faster than he imagined. And that milestone results in his first encounter with Speed Force. The Flash is promptly launched into the midst of a raging war, primarily between Nazis and a team of Golden Age DC superheroes known as the Justice Society of America, led by Wonder Woman. The group includes Hourman, Black Canary, Hawkman, Steve Trevor, and the Golden Age Flash, Jay Garrick. The Flash quickly volunteers to assist his fellow heroes in tipping the scales of war in their favor, while the team tries to figure out how to send him home. But it won't be easy as complications and emotions run deep in this time-skipping World War II thriller. First off, I don't know if y'all seen the images for this. I love the art style that they're going for with this. The retro chic kind of look of all the characters, and it's a different look from a lot of their direct-to-video films, which is always a plus in my book.
Yeah, the only one this looks even remotely similar to is last year's Superman Man of Tomorrow. And I gotta say, I really like the sort of darker outlines for these characters. It resembles more that like classic like Silver Age / Bronze Age comic book art style.
Yeah, and we also got a good cast here with Stana Katic, Matt Bomer. Let's see, we have Jeffrey Aaron, Armin Taylor, Elysia Rotaru, Liam McIntyre, Omid Abati. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name. He's in American Gods and The Mandalorian. Matthew Mercer and Keith Ferguson. He's everywhere. Darren DePaul, Ashley Lathrop, and Chris Diantopoulos, who will be Steve Trevor. And then we also have the director is Jeff Wamister. I apologize. Who directs the Guardians of the Galaxy TV series, will be directing this with a screenplay by Megan Fitzmartin, who worked on Supernatural and DC Superhero Girls, and Jeremy Adams, who worked on Supernatural and Batman: Soul of the Dragon. Yeah, so this sounds good. Haley, Teresa, got any thoughts about this one?
I don't know a whole lot about the DC animated universe, unfortunately. But I agree that the art looks pretty interesting. That is something in my backlog that I'd like to catch up on now that I've got HBO Max. I think I can finally go back and watch like some of these things that I've missed because they were on that separate streaming service or direct to DVD for a while. So
yeah.
Yeah, I love the DC animated movies. I own quite a few, probably like 6 or 7. So this is whenever they have new ones announced, I'm always like super excited. This one definitely sounds interesting. I love the Flash. I love Matt Bomer. He's from Texas. I love white collars, so him getting more work is always great for me. And I love, seeing the different animated voices. They don't necessarily keep the same one movie to movie, so I always find that interesting. And I definitely love Castle, so Sonic K-Tick is also great news. That should be more work.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, I tend to like the ones that tend to be their own thing. They're not trying to adapt like a known storyline. which like to me, I loved like Batman Ninja and then Batman versus TMNT. And then Mike and I had a glowing review of Batman Soul of the Dragon. And so what?
I need to watch that one. I haven't seen that one yet, but
Oh, it is so good.
I'm all-
If you love that mix of 70s kung fu films and like the Sean Connery era James Bond, then this will be right up your alley.
But without all the macho baloney that's attached to Connery's Bond era. So who's ready for a possible animated Game of Thrones coming to HBO Max? Sources tell The Hollywood Reporter that meetings with writers are underway for a potential series that would be part of the franchise's expansion at Warner Media. So it's in the early stages of development, and well, I guess I wouldn't be shocked to see an animated one. Any thoughts? I mean, I know everyone's kind of spent on Game of Thrones, and of course HBO and Warner Brothers are doubling down on it.
Yeah, I saw like 3 episodes of the original Game of Thrones. I don't need that. I don't need more of it, animated or otherwise. This is absolutely not for me. I also don't see what you can't get out of like the glut of Netflix dark fantasy CG stuff that they wouldn't do here. So, shrug.
Yeah, no, I think that's the thing. If it can be a little more than what I mean, I love parts of the original show, but I do get it. It's like it was a lot. Let's just put it lightly.
Yeah, I've only ever actually seen like the first couple episodes of Game of Thrones. It was one of those franchises that just didn't hit me the same way it did everyone else. But I am kind of curious how they'll tell the story in animation. I mean, as long as it's not just aping all of the other dark fantasy shows that Cam and I have seen since this podcast started.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I'm kind of we're spoiled by dark fantasy stuff. I don't know what they could do with Game of Thrones animated besides be like a violent, gory, hopefully not assault heavy version of Castlevania or something like that. Or because I mean really I think like shows like we have like the Castlevania Netflix series, we have Seis Manos, which is really good, Doro Hidoro. And then we have the stuff that are like way more mature than parts of Game of Thrones, like Infinity Train, Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts. I'm curious to see what happens. We'll have to see. So let's move on to some Netflix stuff. Let's move away from HBO Max. So we have a new animated musical feature film coming out called The Witch Boy. It's hailing from the Oscar-nominated Adam and Dog director and based on Molly Knox Osterhag's New York Times bestselling novel series of the same name. The Witch Boy takes place in a secret magical community where girls are born to be witches and boys grow into shapeshifters. The lead's protagonist, Aster, is surprised to discover his emerging witch powers. But when a mysterious force endangers his world, he must embark on a journey to learn the truth behind himself, his powers, and all the magic around him. The Witch Boy will also feature original music by Grammy-nominated sister trio Haim. Maria Melnick will write the script with Roy Lee, Miri Yoon, and Ryan Harris producing. Vertigo Entertainment will produce the feature, and well, we saw Netflix is going to be releasing it. Netflix has been really impressive on their animation game. They've really not doubled, they tripled, quadrupled down on like animation, and not just because of the pandemic. I think they are taking a real hard commitment to being a place where animation creators can, well, make these movies and make their shows and make what they want to make without having to deal with, like with Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and other channels shenanigans, for better or for worse, depending on how you look at it with Netflix. Any thoughts?
The fact that this is a musical already had me interested, but then as you were kind of explaining the synopsis, and I noticed this is another example similar to the Owl House where witchcraft is more of a gender neutral concept. It's not just girls are witches, boys are warlocks. It's like that term has become more all inclusive.
Yeah, that's what I remember liking about the Owl House. Any thoughts? Other thoughts before we move on?
I'm good.
Okay.
Alrighty. So Netflix, we just praised you, but now we're gonna kick you in the shins. The Paradise PD creators are expanding into a Netflix partnership, and they announced a new sci-fi cartoon, Farzar. Okay. Out of all the people you could have teamed up with, you decided to team up with the Paradise PD and Brickleberry guys. Okay. I'm grumpy about this.
Same. Just this is one of those pairs that nobody asked for.
So let's see here. Farzar is an outrageous sci-fi comedy that follows Prince Faisal and his crew as they venture out of their domed human city to fight the evil aliens that want to kill and or eat them. As they begin their journey, Faisal quickly discovers that all is not what it seems, as he may be living a lie. I don't know. Paradise PD is such a overboard of like mean-spirited, offensive for the sake of being offensive humor. And I've seen both seasons. I don't know why. I just didn't, and I did not like Brickleberry. So I'm assuming their work has been making a lot of viewership money for Netflix.
I was actually going to ask that. Do people watch Paradise PD? Like,
I guess they do if they're making a deal with them. Even it's like I liked some aspects of it, mostly the voice cast because I love Tom Kenny and Dana Snyder, and Cedric Yarborough was on there also, and I like him. But
I
okay,
feel like if you like Family Guy a lot and it defines your personality, you really like these shows. And there's like it's like the people who watch, I don't know, like the mall Paul Blart mall cop. That's not for me, but like
yeah,
we made two of them. Someone's watching them. So I get it. I mean, I like the idea of like, it looks a lot like Futurama and ripping off a lot of that. But if they want to take their take on like space, whatever, then fine.
yeah. well, Mike and I will have to see, and then Mike will have to tell me if I lose my co-hosting gig on this podcast. I made him sit through hoops, so I think I'm good. But
yeah, if you can survive hoops, you can survive anything.
Yeah.
And maybe this is where they pull it out. Maybe this is the thing. Maybe this is where it all meshes together and it all makes sense. You know?
Yeah, I hope so because the new cartoon that they released, Kid Cosmic from Craig McCracken, is really really good. I adore that show. I guess that's my early recommendation of the episode. So Netflix is also greenlit like 500 million different cartoons. Sonic Prime will be coming out next year, a new take on the Blue Blur, who seems to be doing much better in animated form than video game form. I'm sorry about that, but when you release Sonic Boom, I mean, come on. So it's going to be a 24 episode animated show adventure for kids, families, and longtime fans. And it's going to be produced at Wild Brain, which Wild Brain. I'm not entirely familiar with their work. Let's see here. Wild Brain student. Let's see. Well, anyway, they're a well-known studio. So, and then they have also greenlit a Tomb Raider and a Kong Skull Island animated series. And yeah, so Skull Island will be produced by Powerhouse Animation, which they did The Blood of Zeus, Castlevania, and Sesmanos, the super violent adult animated cartoons for Netflix. And Tomb Raider will be produced by the same company from what it looks like. And well, I could see Skull Island being a fun one to watch, and I'm curious to see what kind of tone they go for with Tomb Raider, because you can go with the cheesy '90s one, or with the quote unquote gritty version of the newer games? Any of y'all hyped for this, or for these two, or?
Yeah, I'm interested at the very least. I'm more curious how they're gonna pull off Tomb Raider, since both attempts in live action. While I enjoyed the Alicia Vikander film from a couple years ago, it didn't really connect with an audience, and so to see it animated is certainly a different take.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's gonna come. Skull Island is not really my thing, but Tomb Raider is gonna come down to a matter of tone for me. If they kind of push in the same gritty edge that some of their other titles are, I don't think it would be something I'd be interested in. I like the adventuring origins of Lara Croft.
Yeah.
I loved all the original games, and there's a niche for that. There's not really a show that's like that. While we've got plenty of dark, gritty animated stuff out right now, I would want it to be something that kind of reminds people why she was so popular to begin with, why those games were so popular to begin with. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping they kind of take that opportunity to do that.
Yeah, Teresa, any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm game for both of them. I really like Sk8 Monos, so more from them would be cool. I liked all the give me Tomb Raider anyway, and I'm pretty happy. So definitely looking forward to. I'm always up for an animated version.
Awesome.
This Sk8 Monos has come up like 5 times. I'm writing down to watch this because I'd never heard of it before today.
Well, Netflix suggested it to me because I watch so much anime.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
It's
like
really
they add new anime shows. They're like, you would want to watch this, and I'm like, you are correct.
Sk8 Monos is a lot of fun. Super gory. That's kind of the problem. If you are not into super gory action stuff, that's all that Powerhouse Animation has done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when I talk about that, I mean just kind of like where it's clear that that's replacing story, So that's kind of what I don't want for Tomb Raider. But yeah. I'm definitely gonna watch Sk8 Monos because it's come up a couple times from all y'all as something that's good. So sorry to derail, but I'm ready.
No. It's, hey, I'm hoping for a season 2 for Sk8 Monos. I can only hope so. Mm-hmm. So we've got a new trailer for Pacific Rim: The Black coming out on March 4th, being produced by Polygon Pictures, and was part of that big old Netflix stream that they did a few months back. And well, it's being done by Polygon Pictures. They did the Netflix Godzilla films. They did that Blame film from a few years ago. It looked pretty promising. I don't know. It has to be better than Uprising. You can't get any worse than that.
Yeah, literally all you have to do is be better than Uprising, and it'll be the second best Pacific Rim property since the original film.
Please be better than Uprising.
Yeah. I still can't get over the fact that they had intentionally killed the one Middle Eastern character pilot in that film out of all the pilots that were in there, and he was the only one to die. And it's like, you don't have to say it out loud, but it was a lot. But yeah, the animation actually looks nice. I'm usually more of a fan of like Studio Orange, because they're the ones who did like Beastars and Land Illustrious, and no, it looks promising. So, Teresa, do you have any thoughts about this Pacific Rim thing?
Yeah, I'm up for it.
Alrighty. Netflix has a new show called Daniel Spellbound from Boat Rocker and Industrial Bros. It'll be this 2022 animated epic adventure that'll debut next year. It's created by Matt Fernandez, who did Dino Ranch, Remy and Boo, and Kingdom Force. In modern day New York City, magic is real. It's just hidden from the public by sleight of hand and misdirection. But Daniel Spellbound knows where to find it. As a tracker of magical ingredients, he makes his living selling rare goods to sorcerers and wizards for their spells. But when he discovers a strange ingredient, Daniel catches the attention of dangerous alchemists, and he suddenly must test his skills on an adventure around the globe while the magical world hangs in the balance. Sounds cool. Not a whole lot else. I'm always down for cool magic stuff. I'm not usually bound by like how it all works because it's magic. I know there has to be some grounding to it, but you know, magic. Explaining how everything ruins the fun of it.
The fact that it's set in modern day New York has me more curious about this.
Yeah. So, but let's actually talk about a show that we can talk about. City of Ghosts, the new series by Elizabeth Ito, who worked on Adventure Time and made the short Welcome to My Life. It will be a documentary style show debuting on March 5th, and will follow a group of ghost-loving kids in Los Angeles who learn about the rich history of their city through encounters with friendly neighborhood ghosts. In each episode, which is based on and voiced by real residents from different neighborhoods, the members of the Ghost Club help others learn to inhabit the present by communicating with ghosts of the past. First off, go watch Welcome to My Life. That short is charming as heck. It's really good. And it seems like that charm and energy that she's put into that short is being brought into City of Ghosts, as it has this unique stop motion CGI look to everything. And like with its mix with photorealistic backgrounds. Any thoughts?
I am very excited for this one. This looks super cute, and it was really cool to kind of see the areas that I kind of grew up around in the backgrounds of stuff. And I'm hoping, because the trailer makes it seem that way, that we're getting a whole lot of different cultures, ghost stories, and traditions and such in it. I'm just really excited for this one. This looks like this could be really, really awesome.
Teresa or Mike?
Yeah, I fell in love with the animation style as soon as I watched the trailer, and what Haley said, getting kind of an introduction of like all these different cultures through the ghosts sounds like it'll be fun for like a younger audience.
Yeah, it's definitely going like younger. It's giving me Ghost Rider vibes. Educational. I hope it does better than Ghost Rider, because that didn't do very well.
I haven't heard about that show. Is it? It sounds like it's not very good.
Ghost Rider is a remake from when I was a kid, and it's more mystery, but it has the educational, and it does. It's kind of, you watch Wishbone. Ghost Rider came after it, and they rebooted.
Oh my God, Wishbone!
And no one has Apple TV. And I think they even gave away like 4 episodes for free, and it still didn't do that great. Like a typewriter gives them clues, and it's a ghost like telling them things, and they have to like solve something each episode, and I loved it.
Okay, that sounds awesome too. So I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that existed either. Jeez, that sounds great though.
I know.
Yeah.
Because we pitched something because they were scrambling to get people.
Oh.
But
that's a bummer.
They can take the hit.
It's Apple. They can take millions of hits. So our war with the sponge is ever going. Sponge on the Run and the spin-off Camp Coral will make their Paramount Plus premiere on March 4th. Okay, anyone actually looking forward to Sponge on the Run after its 500 delays and then everyone using a VPN to watch it on Canada's Netflix?
I'm gonna go watch it on Canada's Netflix.
It's either Canada or UK. Like it's just like this for YouTube. This movie has been bugging us because it's like, it's SpongeBob. It will make money. There was no reason to delay it so long, but we're assuming it was to release alongside Camp Coral, which we got 6 uncut minutes of that disaster waiting to happen. With the plastic looking CGI characters.
Yeah, the footage honestly looks like unfinished renderings of these characters, which is disappointing because Nickelodeon has had some success with 3D animation, but honestly, I don't think I don't think it's gotten any better than like Jimmy Neutron in its prime.
Yeah. It's just like that. That like that scene where from that episode where Plankton swaps lives with Mr. Krabs, where Plankton takes over the Krusty Krab, and that one of the customers comes up. He's like, "Hey, man, do you think this is funny?" And he's like, "In a weird, surreal sort of way, yes." Well, does this look funny to you? Well, I don't know, but oh my goodness! Like where it looks like zooms in on a Krabby Patty that just looks awful. That's kind of what the Camp Coral poster looks like. It's like from a distance, it's like, oh, it doesn't look that bad, and then you look closely at it with those Funko looking character designs. It's like, oh no. Any thoughts? Any at all excitement for these?
I was never into SpongeBob, so no.
No.
Same. Thank you for existing.
I
remember that premiered as a kid, and my sister and I watched it going, well, okay. And we were like 7.
Yeah,
So
you were like
just
the ideal age.
Yeah, we were just like, well, that happens. And
yeah, no,
there's been some good stuff SpongeBob's done, but overall it's just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, no, SpongeBob is kind of more known for giving Nickelodeon a really bad way of or from what it looks like from the outside, a bad way of running a network. Because like, if you're not as big as SpongeBob, we're canceling you. So, all right. Man, okay, so let's get into these final bits of news before we can finally get into it. Some new anime are getting greenlit. The Tensei Kinja no Isekai light novels are getting a TV adaptation. And it, of course, translates to the reincarnated sage's alternate world life. I got a second profession and became the most powerful in the world. Is getting greenlit. And so the story centers around Yuji Sano, who works at a company that is harsh to its employees. How original. After bringing some overtime work back home, he gets a message from his computer. You have been summoned to an alternate world. It is a game-like world complete with status bars and skills. Yuji tames a slime monster and thus becomes a tamer. Then he suddenly attains a second profession, Sage, and awakens magical powers within himself. Yuji's alternate world adventure begins when he follows a slime that seemingly weakest of all monsters. Reveroot is going to be animating the project, and Pony Canyon is producing the music. Another light novel. Always kind of have to be wary with those.
Another light novel about the same 5 plots in this vein too.
Yeah. Yep. Not much to say there. So some Crunchyroll news. They will be streaming one of the shows we'll be talking about, Vlad Love, which had its preview premiere on YouTube with the first episode going up. And they are also going to be bringing over the first new series from Nippon TV's animation branch, which they announced last year, Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy. And so let's read the plot. Makoto Misumi is just an ordinary high school student living a regular life, but all of a sudden gets summoned to the other world to become a hero.
Are you kidding me with all this again?
I know. I'm not repeating the same story, I swear. The goddess of the other world, however, insults him for being different and strips his hero title before casting him off to the wilderness at the edge of the world. As he wanders the wilderness, Makoto encounters dragons, spiders, orcs, dwarves, and all sorts of non-human tribes. Because Makoto comes from a different world, he is able to unleash unimaginable magical powers and combat skills. Original, huh? But just how will he handle his encounters with various species and survive in his new environment? In this fantasy, Makoto tries to transform the other world into a better place despite the humans and gods having turned their backs on him. Man, I am getting tired of isekais, and I'm just kind of hoping this one does something different, and we'll have to see.
Yeah, I'm with you. That the isekai genre is probably my least favorite, if only based on the past 2 seasons that we covered.
It's just like there's only so little you can do, and honestly, I think Konosuba just ruined isekai anime for me. Let's just get real here. When you do the meta smackdown on the isekai production, it's like, yeah. And so manga company Comic Smart establishes a digital animation studio called Quizla or Kujira, which is a Japanese word for whale. And the company seeks to alleviate labor problems with animators while maintaining a high quality of work with a fast production process. I'm hoping that helps change the industry a little, because as we all know, as much as we love our anime, there is of course the one major dark side to the anime industry where the working conditions aren't great. And sometimes you can see that with what happens with the shows. Because as much as I wish every studio could be like Kyo Annie, it's not going to happen. But I wish for that to be the case, because it seems like that's one of the only studios where you hear nothing but great things about the working conditions there. Any thoughts about a new studio coming into the fray?
I like seeing new faces in the industry, and hopefully they do better. They treat their employees better, with less crunch time hours, because I know that can be brutal for these animators who spend more time in the studio, or I guess during the pandemic, in their own home offices than with their own families.
Yeah. No, I just hope for the best, because I don't know if y'all read about this. I think it was for one of the worst anime from 2018, My Sister, My Writer.
Oh god.
I don't know if y'all remember hearing the production nightmares of that story, that the people working on it would hide little like SOS, like help me comments in the credits.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I hope that this company has a decent plan for getting to the market and treating their people well. Looks like they co-sponsored Japan Sinks, so it at least seems like they're interested in doing some interesting kind of off the beaten path titles too. So that would be nice to see as well.
Yeah, and one of the founders is a veteran from Production IG, and
Nice.
that's a pretty reliable overall studio, depending on what teams they got working on and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So let's actually crack down into what we want to talk about, which is the winter 2021 anime season. I cut out a few news stories. Mike and I will talk about them next time, just because we have a lot to talk about. So, any overall thoughts about the anime season in general before we break down and let's just be real, kick redo of Healer in the gut?
Overall, while I didn't get to everything, there are only 2 shows, maybe even 3, that like I actively despised, but everything else, even like the worst stuff, was still just kind of mediocre at worst. And most of it was at like there was at least something that I liked about each of the shows, except for the 2 that are probably going to get the harshest beatdown.
Yeah. Haley, what about you? About what you watched and whatnot?
So maybe it's just because I didn't manage to get around to watching all the Idol stuff, but I felt like the stuff that was good was really good, like beyond good. And the stuff that was bad, holy crap, was it awful. Like there wasn't a whole lot for me. Like I agree with Mike that I could find good stuff in, aside from like a small handful, just about everything I watched. So it made even the kind of mediocre, boring stuff interesting. But when there's a couple of these, like you're saying 2, I've got like 4 that I'm just like, this was execrable. Like just like to the point where like a week into this, I was just like, what have I signed up for? But even the stuff to me that I held off on watching because I was like, this seems like it's just gonna be blah or whatever.
Right.
And some of it ended up really charming me. Some of it I wasn't so like hot on, but I could at least see where like there's an appeal to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's one show that I kind of want to talk about that I think it's unfortunate that there clearly wasn't very much money put into it, because it would be my favorite if it didn't look like butt. But
yeah. I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. But yeah, otherwise, like, I think it's clear that there are definite studios and titles that are really pushing to get some really cool stuff out there. And I think that kind of reflects too in the lineup for next season. The next season does not look nearly as fantasy and idol infested, which should be interesting.
Yeah. Teresa, any thoughts about what you watched?
Yeah, I thought, I did watch a lot of the good ones, and not as many of the worst ones. I definitely feel like the animation level has been like fairly consistent, except for like one of the ones I saw a preview for. This is probably I'm usually behind schedule. I'm not like into it as it releases, so I thought this was really great exercise to me to like try to get in it. It seems overwhelming, and bravo to you guys who like all the time.
Yeah.
I usually just take a couple series and like watch them over a month or something, and then like I have no idea when they came out, if they were recent or not. So
Right.
awesome. And I always like the mystery stuff, so as long as you gave me some of that, which there was that in there, I'm always pretty happy.
Awesome. Yeah, I thought this was a really strong season, and I think a lot of that was because some of it got pushed from fall 2020 to winter 2021 because of everything. But yeah, I think what was interesting was there was a lot of good stuff, like not counting the returning shows, which of course there were a lot of good returning shows like Attack on Titan, The Promised Neverlands. That time I was reincarnated as a slime, Ray Zero, and Doctor Stone. But there was like a lot of really, really probably some of the best anime that I've ever seen, like Horimiya, which I'm super pumped to talk about. Then some that surprised me, like Wonder Egg Priority or Sk8 Infinity. I thought it was a really strong season, and I think as long as we don't go back into like that summer 2020 season where there were just like 10 anime and a lot of them weren't great. So yeah, I think in general, a pretty good season overall. So let's get the worst out of the way. And why is it redo of Healer?
Are we allowed to curse?
You can curse. I mean, I don't, but that's just me. So
I'm just gonna get a real quick fuck this show out of the way.
Yeah.
Just my
so
god.
Before we talk about this, content warnings. This thing has like every red flag under the sun, including rape, abuse, racism, violence, homophobia, sexual violence, just everything that you can think of. Why does this show exist? It's based off of the novel and manga by Ryo Tsukiyo, and it was directed by Takuya Asaoka, and produced by TNK. And did they just want to make a revenge fantasy hentai, but they didn't really want to go into hentai, even though they technically do?
Yeah, a huge problem. I mean, this thing doesn't function on any level. But I think the biggest problem I have with this is that you can't, like, if you judge it as the porn they clearly want it to be, this isn't something I'm into. So,
of course,
on that area, that fails. Yeah. And if you want to judge it as a show, it has no world building, no consistent logical plotting, no characterization, almost no. I think I already said no world building, but it's really important to mention that this thing has literally no logical consistency to it. And I think that's what makes it so bad. It's like, we can talk all day about how disgusting morally this show is. Ugh. And like at the end of the day, it's disgustingly immoral, and it doesn't make any sense at all.
That's the problem. It's like this. So it's about a healer who was abused, among other things, in his life. And after they take down the demon lord, he goes back in time 4 years and decides to, for some reason, go through half of the stuff that he went through again just to get at a better advantage over them. Even though it's like, if you have this time stone and you can do anything and you can go back 4 years, why don't you just go back to the point where, like, pull a Teen Titans Go to the movies and just go back in time and prevent them from being born? Like, you know, what they did with like baby Aquaman, and just drop a 6-pack plastic thing into the ocean and just walk away.
Yeah, or like even in this setting, like everybody who abused him at the point that he gets the stone is basically dead already. Just leave them there.
But that was the thing.
Stone for something else. And I think that's where the world building comes in, is because you'll see somebody online say, oh, but in the novel, like, okay, that's great, but I'm watching a TV show and I'm not going to read this novel. and nothing adds up the way they're showing it in the anime.
That's the thing. It's like I remember seeing so many people being like, but in the novel, yeah, okay, look, I'm glad you read a book. That's great. You read a book. Not a great book.
Asterisk.
Yeah. And it's just like, what makes him any better or compelling than, because he's basically doing the same things and on another level worse. I don't even want to talk about what happens in episode 2.
Yeah, episode 2 is basically the reason why it's the worst of the season.
And if you're going to have
this, Teresa, be glad.
Yeah, golly, it's like going through a Gaspar Noé film in a way. But it's like, it's all like, if people like this kind of stupid stuff, fine, whatever, they can like it. They're wrong, but at least defend it if it was actually well animated. It's not. It's really generic looking. Its animation isn't all that great.
Man, some of those background characters are slideshows.
And like Haley, you told me this, and I kind of agree after thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
The only good thing I can think of are the voice actors for Bullet and Flare.
Basically, I really hope that girl that plays Flare gets a role in some show that doesn't suck, because she is good.
They act their ass off, and even though Bullet is like one of the most reprehensible characters, that on top of a pile of other reprehensible characters, like there's nothing here for anyone except for stupid edgelords who are just liking it because it has a quote unquote normie filter. And it's like, no, it's like, at least with Goblin Slayer, it was just that one episode. Then it turned into dumb violence and fantasy pulp. And it didn't.
This is basically an entire show of adapted from that one episode.
Precisely. And it's not even as well animated as Goblin Slayer, and that show's animation is just okay.
This show feels like if you're watching Litchi Light Club and you're supposed to be rooting for the Cult of Personality guy.
Oh,
like
God.
The one who takes over the club.
Yeah.
Like, because that title actually came up somewhere in a discussion I read, and it was the closest thing somebody had to a point, I think, because that's a gross, weird, interesting manga.
Yeah.
But the more I thought about it, I was like, but in the end, you're still supposed to be rooting for the girl to escape being kidnapped and the old childhood friends to take the club back from the crazy guy.
Yeah. And it's like, at the end of it all, like, what is his goal? Like, like, why not just go back in time, tell the Demon Lord, like, hey, these people are about to come and get you, so I know their weaknesses and everything. It's like, you can break this show down so easily, and then people are like, well, you got to watch the uncut version. The only thing the uncut version shows is the porn parts. And if I wanted to watch hentai, there's like nothing stopping anyone from doing that. You don't have to justify watching hentai. You just watch it. For here...
Sorry, keep going.
No, go ahead.
I was going to, based on that also, can we talk about that green fairy that shows up for 5 minutes? Apparently is one of the most powerful beings on Earth, or this universe. Says that because of what somebody did for a war, or to connect the fairies and the humans or whatever, she's going to give our potato lead a gift, and it's the gift of stats, and then she disappears. Okay, so this girl is powerful, right?
Yeah.
She never appears again.
So far they haven't. And
like, this is the kind of stuff that drives me crazy. It's like, we're talking about like the stone and the time travel stone. There are points literally at every corner of the first episode where this could become a story. And it doesn't. It never does. Like, we never see this all-powerful fairy being again who might object to her power being used to just wantonly destroy the lives of everybody in this village, maybe.
Yeah.
We never understand what exactly healing has to do with like metamorphizing people's faces. Like, I've got like a full page of like 8, like size 8 font of me just trying to figure out the internal logic of this show. Because I didn't watch the uncensored version because I didn't want to see that. It left me to focus on the story, which doesn't exist. Like when he started making an episode, or oh my god, this show is so bad that it's making me forget how to speak. The episode 3 where he somehow knows about the poison in the well and is able to make an antidote, but it doesn't seem like it's making it through his powers. It seems like he's making it through his eye.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how he did that. And then he still doesn't just give it to the town. He sells it off so he can make money to buy a slave. It's just like, it doesn't make sense. And it's bad. And it's like we're supposed to sympathize with this lead on some level. But even beyond what he's doing, he never makes a choice that makes me sympathize with him.
Nope.
Even when it's not, attacking women or brainwashing them or whatnot.
Now, speaking about trying to sympathize with them, maybe I missed like a key line of dialogue, but I don't think we ever actually see before his first like trip back in time. I don't think we ever actually see him getting abused. We just see him on the battlefield, like his fallen comrades are just like, "Hey, heal us."
Yeah. No, and then we get it front loaded to us throughout 3 episodes. And against my better judgment, I watched the 4th episode, and while it wasn't as terrible as those 3, it still has a lot of red flags, of course. So, but yeah, it's 100% the worst anime of the season because it's not watchable in any amusing or entertaining way. And the only one people who like it are stupid little edgelord trolls who just like it because it's grimy and they just don't want to like admit to watching porn. So let's just drop it off. I'm sorry, Sentai Filmworks, that was basically the one show you had to buy, new show that you had to buy. Anyway.
The one thing I want to say is this is one of 2 shows where a tea cup is dropped and the tea doesn't act like tea when it falls on the ground. It like globs up like it's a slime. And I hate that that's like an animation trend.
Yeah.
I think the other one was the otherwise good Suppose a Kid from the Boonies ends up.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember what that's called, but there was
Tao Teba Last Dungeon.
Yeah, I think that was the other one where someone dropped a teacup and I was just like, has anybody dropped a teacup in Japan recently? Because that's not what water or liquid does when you drop it.
Yeah, so let's move on. So X-Arm, the most highly looked forward to anime of the season for all the wrong, hilariously bad reasons.
I'm sorry, my first note for this was buckle up, motherfuckers.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
that's this show. I actually it's not good. But I enjoyed it in the same way that I enjoy The Room or The Oogie Loves and the Great Balloon Adventure.
It's funny in that regards because golly, what the hell happened here? It was directed by someone who never worked in animation, animated by a studio with people who didn't work in animation, and based off of a super generic cyberpunk story, and had a freaking late 90s, early 2000s teen bop rock band song for an opening.
I kind of liked that song.
Yeah, no.
There's much to latch on to with this show.
No, the CGI looks terrible. If you think Ruby looks bad, at least Ruby has the excuse of being made by a small team on a weekly basis. X-Arm has no excuse to look this bad, especially since we have Studio Mappa with Dorohedoro and other shows.
Wait, are you serious? Is this actually a Mappa series?
No, I'm not. No, it's not. It's not. Thank goodness. No, I'm just saying.
I had a heart attack for a second there.
Yeah. No, it's not. It doesn't look good. It looks like someone who, well, it's like that video you showed, Mike. It looks like someone animated it in Gary's mod, and it like the lips move like those Martians from Sesame Street with the the yip 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 yip.
Oh, the yip yips, yeah.
Yeah, the yip yips, and the animation is so bad. Oh my gosh, it's like there's no weight behind anything. Nobody moves. Like it's too stiff. And this is like what the founder of Studio Orange, who did Beastars and the upcoming Godzilla anime, said. You can't just rely on motion capture. You have to have animators to help ease the animation into it. And it's like, no one did that. Nobody knew what they were doing. The compositing's terrible. The writing's terrible. The characters are all bland and boring and forgettable.
One of my favorite things about this show is that like two characters can be in the same room and they do not look like they belong in the same show.
Some of them are 2D animated, and that looks so bad. Oh gosh, just the worst. But at least it's funny to watch the ineptness on screen. Like that's the one thing it does well. It's just so bad it's good. And I don't know what happened here. And a lot of people were like, "Oh no, Crunchyroll's being bought by Sony, another merger." Man. If Crunchyroll was going to be on its own, they need to stop making stuff like this because, by God.
It makes me wonder if didn't they ask for like reels or like progress
Anything.
reports? Yeah, because like
No.
one of the main characters literally looks like the Momo meme. Like somebody should have stepped in on this.
No.
The only thing I can really say for it is if it wasn't for the animation being just like the craziest thing I've ever seen, it wouldn't be terrible. Like it's bland and it's a story we've seen 100 times before. But if it was traditionally animated, it's a good enough filler show for a season.
No,
like, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it, but I only watched 2 episodes and I heard the third one goes off the rails pretty quick.
It
does.
They introduce this stupid robot suit that the main character can get into. And in the 4th episode, you see him go into a full-on Ava Unit 1 from Evangelion Berserk mode, including with the mouth opening and whatnot. It's so bad. It's like man. Let's just move on.
I bailed at the right time.
Yeah, you bailed. Yeah, okay. Good.
Okay.
But here's the thing. They have apparently actually cut out very important story beats that were in the manga. And something that was kind of funny was when like there's that stupid fan service moment where a police officer and the robot girl kiss, but they put up a bloom effect to cover the lips. Because they didn't know how to animate that.
I saw that in episode 2 and I was just like, well, I assumed they didn't know how to do it because I read that people were like, is this homophobia? I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's just inept.
No, yeah, I think because let's just say anime can be very homophobic, but
yeah,
this is not that case. Do not die on that hill of calling this show homophobic. So let's move on to Scar of the Praetor, a new show by Go Hands.
I liked this better than some other stuff we're going to talk about.
Oh, I want to hear about this. For me, I'm not a fan of Go Hands and their original stuff. Something about their work is like it's so close to being more interesting than it is for me, but I just do not like this 2D upon CGI backgrounds as much. Just it looks weird to me, and sometimes I feel like I'm watching them slide around on butter as they move. And I had a hard time, maybe I'm just dumb, but I had a hard time following the world building with this show.
This show's extremely confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm not dumb. Okay, well, maybe I'm dumb in some other ways, but...
I have a literal like running list down the side of my notes of who everyone is and what the terms are.
So
and
it's like...
Still, I'm having a hard time figuring it out as I'm reading it, remembering it. I should have probably checked up on the show again.
I mean, I kind of liked the opening song to it, and I kind of liked the scene in the first episode where the main character and the guy with the 2 guns kind of bond at the end before he dies and gives him his scar or whatever it's called. And I like some aspects of the characters. I've been watching past the 3rd episode, and the blonde guy in the red and black likes to watch anime, and he almost tried to get out of a situation by saying, I almost forgot to record this anime that I like. But then this cohort is like, no, is it this one? You know about it. You do watch it. Shut up. Like there's some cute things about it, but I don't know. But what did you think about it overall?
So I wasn't super familiar with the Gohan studio. When I was going into this, apparently I'm very, very blessed to have not been super familiar with them.
Oh gosh,
but
yeah.
I don't mind this animation style, which I think is the most controversial thing I'm going to say. Like, is it well animated? No. But the real backgrounds with the animation in front of it, I actually found kind of interesting from a design perspective. Maybe this is just the best that they've executed it compared to the past, but I actually kind of like how that emphasized the weirdness of the world and the story they live in and that might be an unintentional win on their part. And when I said this is better than some of the other things we're going to talk about, I didn't mean much better. I think my overall reaction to this was just kind of like to be confused. Part of the problem with the world building is it seems like characters know personal information about each other that they had no business knowing. So a lot of the plot is informed by people not knowing things until they need to know things. And it kind of makes it hard to build a world based on that. Like if I wrote down their names and now I don't remember who any of these people are. But like there was definitely one in the police in the second episode when they're being held by police and the cop says something about our main character's brother. And I'm just like, how the hell does this guy know this? And it was something like very important that we were also learning for the first time, but there's no reason for this cop to know it either.
And to speak so nonchalantly about it too, nothing is new information to the cop, but it's still new to us.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it says like, you should already know this. Should we? Because nobody told us about this. And then Gohan's, can we stop with the incest or the supposed incest? Like this is the third show that you've made that, as far as I know, from your originals, where there's the main character might want to bone his younger non-blood related brother. I don't know.
There are like multiple characters in this show who are referred to as somebody's brother, and then we get corrected that they're not somebody's brother. That I'm just like, what? It happens like 2 or 3 times, and one of the times it happens with the really fancy pants dudes with the like Rolls Royce. And
how the hell did they get that car? No.
And they're apparently in the most lawless place in Japan. How has that car lasted this long? Like,
oh gosh.
I truly thought this was based on a mobile game, based on the designs and how many characters there were.
Oh, I don't blame you for thinking that. Mike, what did you think?
I think I liked it more than. Okay, I'll say this. Animation wise, it's not great, but it's the Godfather compared to X-Arm.
Oh,
it's
true.
It's still not perfect. I don't really see Gohan's being proficient at what they're trying to do, which is that blend of 2D and 3D animation. But some of the visuals were cool, like when the main character was like using his scar magic to like deflect all the bullets. Like the ideas, I like the ideas that they introduce better than the story or the characters.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe like down the road this starts to get better and Gohan's figures out, how to be more consistent animation wise.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on. Let's move.
Can I just say one more thing about this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Normally I don't comment on music in anime, but the music in this show is extremely invasive. Like there were like guitar theme going over exposition for no reason when the whole soundtrack shifted to jazz for the second half of the first episode. Like this music is just all over the place.
It is. The ending theme is all jazzy, and I was like, I kind of dig it, but then it's like, but I don't like the show.
If they were standalone songs, I'd be into them, but they're never used well in the show.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm done with this weird thing.
And so let's go on to one of the most frustrating, Musoko Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation.
Oh boy.
Okay, so this is by the new Studio Bind, that's based off of the novels by Refugien Maganote. It was it was adapted and written and directed by Manabu Okamoto, with Yoshiaki Fujisawa doing music and the character designer Kazutaka Sugiyama. So, who wants to call this the most wasted potential of all time? All this beautiful animation, just gorgeous world building, great designs, consistent character models, just almost theatrical quality animation, and it's all wasted on the most putrid characters.
I want to talk really quickly because this is the this is like the thing that I found very funny about this show.
Go ahead.
Episode 2, the beginning of it, when we get the intro to our lead in the former world, and he's being gross over something at the computer, and like apparently like Yakuza show up or something with bats, and they go into his room and they see what he's watching on the TV, and they're like, disgusting. And then the next cut is his parents kicking him out, not the Yakuza beating the crap out of him. Like I think that kind of it illustrates kind of where the show's brain is. It's like, oh, the Yakuza wouldn't deal him deadly blows over this, even though they're willing to destroy his computer over whatever he was watching. No, his biggest shame is his parents kicked him out. I'm just like, show, this is not how this would have gone down.
So the light novel and a manga apparently downplay this, but he's apparently looking at child pornography. So
I figured it was something gross. The disconnect between what would actually happen in that circumstance that they've set up and what happens immediately after was ludicrous to me. It kind of reflects how they want us to feel about the lead. I'm like, I'm sorry, this dude seems irredeemably gross. You know, that's
the problem. Like I would have been fine with this being an isekai if the main character did not keep those 20 plus years of memories. Yeah, it's like this could have easily been like a Mamoru Hosoda style like slice of life fantasy anime where like it's just about him and his family and whatnot, but you have to constantly deal with this kid being creepy as hell and everyone being like super uncomfortable about it, and then just playing off like, oh, he's just a boy, and it's like, you can't say that anymore, buddy. And then it's also a super horny show, just horny on main, and it's like what sucks is there are like a few scant moments where it's actually not that bad. Like this could have easily been a really interesting show, but it becomes morally repugnant with the main character, and like. It should have been touching, like when he's done learning magic from the wizard girl, and it's like it's touching that he's gonna miss her, and then they cut to him saying like, but I stole some of her panties, and it's like,
yeah,
okay, that's okay, and then if you get past the 3rd episode, you find out in the 4th episode that one of the only good things up to that point were the parents, the dad cheated on his wife with the maid. And you find out in the past he did some not good things in the sexual department. So it's like I don't know what this show's trying to do, because I get it. It's showing Rudy becoming, or the guy getting a second chance at life and showing his growth as a character, but it's so undermined by everything that this show does, especially when they introduce that elf girl. Which at first I was like, oh, this is kind of cute, little childhood friends and such. And then that whole bath sequence happens. And then it's like in the 4th episode when Rudy's saying like, hey, I might go to this magic academy to learn and I might have to leave here. And she's like, honestly, like was going to miss him. And it's like, oh man, that's kind of cute. And then it's like, I'm going to groom her to be my wife. And it's like, fuck. Yeah,
it's like, when does the lead if the show's about the lead getting better, like when does this start?
Happen. No, it's like, and everyone's like, but in the manga, it's going to take a while, but it's going to be great. The payoff's going to be great. And it's like, well, I'm done. Wait, it's like that Pro Z video where it's just like, it's like trying to convince your friend an annoying character becomes cool later, where it's like, don't worry. He's going to be great later on. Well, yeah, but right now he sucks. And by the recent episode, it gets a little better because Rudy actually has to deal with consequences when they're introduced to the, girl that you see in promotional art with the red hair, who is like a much more violent Asuka from Evangelion. And a lot of red flags still, but at least it wasn't as hateful as everything else. But still, it's like, I'm just more mad that all of this talent went into such a boring story. And the novel apparently came out in 2012, which explains why it feels so dated, but apparently it was very like groundbreaking for the isekai genre. But I don't know. I'm just kind of mad that all this talent is wasted on a bad story.
Yeah, I agree with that much. That purely from a technical perspective, the animation looks honestly really well done. if this was just about like a young prodigy learning magic for the first time, it would still be kind of generic in that it's another one of those boy raised on a farm grows up to become like the hero of his town or whatever. But they put so much energy and like thought into the details, like with the animation, the water sequence, the music, all of like that stuff is really well done, but it's all undercut by our protagonist. Yeah, our protagonist being a 40-year-old like
stuck in a kid body. And it doesn't help when it's like some of his actions start getting support. Like the maid finds out that he hid those panties from the mage girl, and she's like, okay, fine, I'll keep this as your little secret. And it's like, no, don't do that. And they're just, the male characters just aren't great in general. There's not a good male lead in this show, and it sucks. I mean, well, it sucks beyond that, of course, but still. So let's go on to not an isekai, but a bad harem fantasy comedy, The Hidden Dungeon Only I Can Enter. So, to be clear, when people criticize these harem anime, it's because the fan service, the cheesecake, or what have you, is not handled well. People don't mind seeing a show be sexy and such. You can be sexy, but it's how you frame it and how you execute it is what matters to people. And The Hidden Dungeon Only I Can Enter is just another one of those really just boring power fantasy anime with harem like girls and whatnot. And I don't know, it's just so painfully generic, and it just has a bunch of things that are just not okay. Like the main character is not that likable. The girls aren't all that interesting, and they're just kind of like, they don't have their own agency anymore after they meet this main character. And I just wish but yeah, I just any thoughts?
Every woman in this show is introduced tit first.
Yeah.
I literally, like, after the first two, I started actually notating it because I was like, this can't be happening. And it was happening. The show, it's boring. So yeah. My two takeaways were that every woman is introduced boob first. And why on earth does he let the goddess stay chained up in that hole? Like the cheesecake and all the it's tropey. It's a very tropey show. If you like these shows, you're gonna like this, whatever. Like, it was fine for what it was. It was boring, it was fine.
Yeah.
But my God, she just gave you the power of creation and to unwrite things and rewrite things. She's probably starving down there in that hole. Can you free her from the hole?
How is she alive still? That's the thing. And it's like this show tries to have stakes. Like,
is she actually still alive?
Yes.
That would be a hell of a twist, and I'd be down for it if it turned out he was just talking to the ghost of a dead goddess lady in a hole.
Yeah, no, and it's like this, like I said, the show tries to have stakes and like drama and such, but it's like, just let him go have fun with these girls for a few hours, build up his magic points or whatever, and then just break the chains, reverse the curse. And it's just like, he has such easy powers that just takes away any like challenge in his way. And then it's also one of those anime where the little sister character wants to bone the brother.
Oh my God, she's annoying.
The only joke that actually was kind of funny was when his sister was being a creep on him. The dad walks in, just closes the door, and then just like, it's like, what the hell is happening here? And well, it's not all funny, but it's just the reaction on his face and just how he just quickly closes the door, where it's like, nope, bye.
I want to see a GIF of that reaction.
Yeah. So
yeah,
no, it's yeah. Just you can go ahead. And
I was just gonna say, this is the epitome of a show about a potato lead with too many powers and all these women falling over for no reason. Like, you seen one, you seen them all.
Yeah, no, and
for better or worse, yeah.
Konosuba ruined these kind of shows for me, just because it's like, I actually like all the characters in Konosuba, even though they're basically, it's always sunny in Philadelphia levels of terrible. Okay, so let's move on to forget the boring stuff. So we're on to mediocre. So we're going to talk about the one original anime out of the Idol anime shows this year, called Gekidol, which is a mix of theater and Idol, and it's directed by Shigeru Ueda, written by Keiichiro Ochi, and produced by Hoods Entertainment. And it tries to have an interesting twist where Ikebukuro is just gone after a natural disaster, and then it turns into a "we gotta save the theater" plot. So how do those two mix? To me, they don't.
Yeah, the like that underlying mysterious thread about the world disappearing. It kind of feels like an afterthought compared to what the main plot of the anime is.
Yeah. No, and it's just because then otherwise you just get kind of a basic Yuri Idol anime. And not that it's like I said, Idol animes are a dime a dozen. You have to do something to stand out. You can't just be well animated like that Dropout Idol Fruit Tart show from last season, or you can't. I fail to find what this does interesting because they treat that Ikebukuro is just gone as just like, oh man, there's gum on my shoe. What a mild annoyance. And it's like, half your city is gone. How is this not like done way more damage or like everlasting impact on like the economy there? Because if I live in Austin, if I saw like all of downtown just out of existence, I think that would just wreck everything. Like,
yes, it's the capital, so it would definitely mess everything up.
yeah, that's the problem. And then it has a cyborg girl because
no reason, just
okay,
just because.
Yeah. And it gets slightly more into like focusing on the characters, but you've seen these characters before. There's no reason. There's nothing that stands out about it. And I was kind of bothered by the opening animation sequence because they really kept focusing on the main character running, like following her backside, and it's like take the camera off, please. Take it off, please. And it's just like I if they focused on like oh, their performance can actually bring back the city or something, that would have been interesting. But nope. So let's move on to the other Idol anime of the season, Aichu, halfway through the Idol. That's quite a title. So it's based off of a rhythm game by Liber Entertainment. It's directed by Hitoshi Naba, written by Yoshimi Narita, and produced by J Deuce and Twin Engine. What happens when you have 15 plus main characters? You have too many. Yeah, it's just another idol thing, a bunch of boy bands, and apparently there's a girl idol group in the show, but we don't see them yet. And what does this show offer that you couldn't get from other idol shows? Like the thing was like Zombieland Saga. That was a very cool twist on the idol formula because it was all like zombie girls as idols, and it led to commentary about the idol industry. This one is just like, we got to be the best, guys. We're going to be the best. We're going to be number one. We're going to be the Hokage. I mean, star idol or whatever.
I will say this. At least the music is really good. And that kind of carries the show just far enough. Also, there's a little bit of an international, there's a little bit more of a global appeal to one of the bands where they have members from around the globe.
Yeah, like China, Germany, France. And the only thing I really took away from it is that the principal wears a giant bear outfit and travels around on a Segway. It looks like something right out of Persona or Danganronpa. And that was kind of amusing. And then they introduced a cross-dressing idol in the third or fourth episode. And it does lead to that really tired joke of like, oh man, she's gorgeous. I'm a guy. Whoa, you can't do that. And it's like, oh Lord. And it turns out that she's like what's the proper term, pronoun for this? Is it just
they?
They. And they are actually the most hardworking idol out there. And they do break them up enough, but they only have like character traits. They're not really personalities. And I got really bothered by the guy who was like, oh, I'm too scared around girls. I just crumble into bits to whenever one approaches me. And
yeah,
then
that character was just kind of
nothing.
he was the strong sad of his group.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, I feel like
And-
after last season where we had the guy who could go between that and a Playboy in Hypnosis Mike, once you took away his coat, you can't really do that character anymore. Like, we've already taken the piss out of it enough times. You're done. I didn't watch
Yeah.
the show, but just hearing that, I'm like, really? After we just went through a whole Hypnosis Mike?
That was a fun that was a dumb fun show to watch. I want to finish it up.
Yeah, I need to too.
But yeah, no, it's. I mean, I guess you could say that the best thing about Aichu is that it's too dumb and harmless to be aggravating, and it's not good enough to be like. Well, it's so harmless. So let's move on to Hortensia Saga, the fantasy anime of the season, where it's based off of a smartphone game by Sega. It's directed by Yasuto Nishikata, written by Rintaro Ikeda, and produced by JC Staff. And the real noteworthy thing about this is that the first episode aired the same day as the January 6th riots. So
almost perfect timing, except
perfect, not good at all.
Yeah.
No, it's like it was really awkward to watch a bunch of red knights storm a blue castle ready to kill anyone, all of the royalty in there. So it's like, way to release this, guys. But outside of that, it's Fire Emblem. It's basically Fire Emblem. And I can play Fire Emblem 3 Houses on my Switch and get a better experience than this. It's not like it's like the worst or anything, or at least I'm not thinking of anything that's worse about it than just being boring boilerplate fantasy anime that we've seen hundreds of times. But there's just nothing to me that stood out from it outside of the spear user that we meet in episode 3 and the pretty solid opening song. Mike, you saw this one, so what are your thoughts?
I think I liked it just I liked it just enough. Honestly, I'll take this over some of the other dark fantasy shows that we've had to sit through. Like Dragon's Dogma.
Oh god, that show. Ugh.
Like at least this is it has a little bit more of a sense of adventure. It's the characters aren't completely unlikable.
They're fine, really.
Yeah.
It's just there's just nothing interesting about them, and they also have like this maid girl who has pigtails that are way too long for their own good. I'm surprised she doesn't trip over them. But yeah, it's fine. It's just nothing that interesting. So I'm gonna skim through these average ones because Vlad Love only got one episode out before its release. I think it's going to be released as of recording this next week. Where
next it'll be released on Valentine's Day.
Weird timing. Anyway,
finally something to do on Valentine's Day with my boyfriend. No, I'm kidding.
No.
Watch this odd vampire comedy. Best partner.
Yeah. No, what's weird about it is it's by Mamoru Oshii, who directed the original Ghost in the Shell. He directed Pat Labor and was a person who worked on Urusei Yatsura, the famous iconic retro anime series from the person who made Inuyasha and Ranma One Half. And
that's neat.
Yeah. And so it's a weird horror comedy about a girl who has a fetish of donating blood.
Don't we all?
Yeah, that's one of my kinks. No, not really. No.
Heavy sarcasm.
No, yeah. And she finds this vampire who was from Transylvania, because where else are they from? Not like New York, like What We Do in the Shadows. And it's just like, it's a weird, chaotic comedy because it throws a lot of jokes at you, and it's a little too much, and there's not really a good way to find out, like, okay, what is this show actually going to be like? Is it going to be really funny with a dark twist? But I will say I commend its chaotic spirit because it has a unique energy that a lot of the other anime do not have. And it has like this cool watercolor background look to everything, which is actually kind of cool looking because you don't see that in a lot of anime where they do like more watercolory backgrounds and whatnot. And the animation's actually not bad, and the opening song is actually really good. And it's probably the best animated thing there. No shock. But yeah, only one episode. We'll just have to see how it goes. Bottom tier character Tomozaki. This is based off of a light novel and
Shocker.
manga. Yeah, and it's directed by Shinsuke Yanagi. It's written by Fumihiko Shimo and produced by Project Number 9. So at first it looks like, oh god, another harem comedy. Like we'd actually need more of those. But it's a self-help anime. It's basically about this gamer guy who's just like very shut in, antisocial, and one day he plays the copyright-free Smash Brothers clone called Tag Fam, and beats this person, and the person's like, "You want to meet or something?" And the twist is the person that he beat and wants to meet him is the quote-unquote popular girl at the school, and she decides to, like, because he's just like really cynical, he's like, life is a game and the game sucks, that kind of way of thinking. And she's like, okay, you know what, we're going to make you a better person. So it basically goes into like a self-help queer eye kind of like way of doing things. And at first I was like, it's like a predictable harem comedy, and I don't like this guy, and all he does is talk in video game lingo. But as you go on, it actually gets a little better. As you go on, the guy actually becomes better, and it's always a little worrying about, like, he's obviously going to fall for a popular girl by the end of the show. That's just what happens with these things. But all the other girls, like, you wonder how that's going to, like, what's the reaction to them is going to be. But they seem to have their own agency with wanting to be with Tomozaki, which is actually commendable, because you don't get that of a lot of harem animes, or they seem to forget that. Because, you know, that's the thing that makes harem animes great. All the characters have their own agency, and they want to be with the main character, not just like, fine, we'll be with you kind of thing. It has a pretty good scene in episode 4, and a pretty good opening also. But if you're not into these kind of things, you probably wouldn't get much out of it, especially since Horimiya came out this same season, which is, you know, the best anime of the season. But we'll have to see. I might not stick with the 12 episodes, but let's move on to Idly Pride, the final idol anime of the season. We had 3. It's a multimedia project by Cyber Agent, which has a manga written by Hiroki Haruse. It's directed by Yu Kinome, written by Tatsuya Takahashi and Yatsuhiro Nakanishi, and produced by Lerche and Sk8 Animation. So the hook for this one is this manager guy got roped into being an idol manager due to his best friend wanting to be, and classmate who ended up being a super famous one. She ends up dying. And he's kind of just coaxing through life, trying to, like, still not over the loss of someone he actually loved. But then she comes back as a ghost, and he can only see her. And she's like, I'm going to help you and make sure you keep going with this job, because I don't want you to quit because I'm not here anymore. Which sounds great. That sounds like a cool drama thing. Like, it's like you could make it work like A Monster Calls and whatnot, and like some kind of symbolism.
So what went wrong?
You have to deal with the idol elements, and it's every boilerplate and idol stuff. You get about 10 girls who have just enough personality to differentiate them, but nothing else. And they started introducing some elements, like one of the idol girls is the sister of the one who died. And there's one that has a heart issue, but she's a really good singer. And it's like there are interesting story beats, but I'm more interested about the manager and his ghost girlfriend. But the show doesn't want to be about that. It wants to be about this idol group. And I'm just like, can you stop focusing on them? Like, I don't know. It's like the wrong way of taking it. But, you know, that's what happens when you're an idol anime. So, but now let's get on to some of the ones that we can all actually talk about more. Sk8 Leading Stars.
I ended up loving this.
This was the This
sorry.
Go ahead. Oh, this one probably had the worst luck going into this season, because can we make a challenge out of not comparing it to that one other skating anime? Can we or can we not?
I haven't actually seen this, so I defer to you guys.
All right,
I mean,
Haley,
I was
what do you
going
think?
into it like immediately they make it pretty clear this isn't going to be like Yuri on Ice. The thing I did not expect this to be like was Ice Shield 21. Like wholesale. This is my kind of shonen anime. Like I think they do a really good job of avoiding almost anything that could line it up with Yuri on Ice. This is a show about hot-blooded teenagers who do not communicate with each other. We have our Hiruma 2.0 in a rival blonde who looks like he doesn't sleep ever, who's constantly trying to execute weird blackmail / like chess level plans that never go quite right. So, failure Hiruma. And just so much of this show is just the lead of the first 3 episodes is the lead failing over and over and over again. And not in the Yuri on Ice way where it's about failure on, I think, and dealing with your insecurities through failure and trying to overcome them. It's just about this dude just falls flat on his face, like metaphorically and literally, almost constantly. Usually because he's getting bad advice from the Hiruma knockoff. But it works for me on a big level. I think partially because it does feel a lot like, I love Ice Shield 21. It's one of my favorite manga ever. And I was literally thinking like right before watching this, like it'd be great if that got rebooted. Like that's a great sports anime or a great sports manga that really deserved a better show. And it hits a lot of those beats. It's got, weird little gremlin leads driven by spite and confusion. We've got a couple of different sports teams that act like actual sports teams. Like, no, you're not going to get into our team after you just insulted us for like 5 minutes in the first episode. Why would we want you here? And now that we're going to give you a little bit of an opportunity to try and get in, we're not going to make it easy for you because you've been kind of a dick. Like these characters act like actual people. The dialogues it's kind of exposition heavy, but these are teenagers. They act like teenagers. The plotting makes sense. It's not about an invincible shonen lead who seems to be overcoming adversity, but is really just handed win after win. I'm at the end of episode 3, and I think the only win he got was when the other guy kidnapped a dude for him so he could go out and perform the same dance as our silver-haired rival. And our silver-haired rival is an intriguing character. He's not a Sasuke. I really think we don't have any idea what his motivations are, but honestly, based on this show, I feel like he just has a resting bitch face and nobody knows how to interact with him. And he probably doesn't view any of these people as rivals. But I know I'm talking about this a lot. It's because I like it a lot. And I was really surprised by how much I liked it.
Wow.
No, I actually quite like this one. It definitely was different enough from Yuri on Ice that it was, and because it's more about teamwork and whatnot. And it has, like you said, it has rival teams and characters with their own distinct personalities. And I do kind of like the silver-haired antagonist. Like at first I was kind of like, oh God, I don't care for this type of character because it's like, hey, how you doing? Go jump off a cliff. Okay, bye.
How dare you insult Bakugo in this way?
But Bakugo turned out to be a great character. So, but no, and sometimes the animation's not great. Of course, it's great when they're doing the ice skating stuff. Sometimes it looks like they're just kind of dragging 2D models across the screen when they're far away. But it's a little much with how many characters there are to invest into. But at least they're all different and distinct enough to differentiate from. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad you liked it. I thought it was a pretty good one too. And I know JC staff doesn't have the best reputation, but I thought that they're making a good one here. So this next one is called So I'm a Spider. So what?
I'm really upset I forgot to watch this.
Well, fun fact, this CGI heavy show was directed and produced by the same studio that made the notorious Berserk anime from 2016 and 2017.
Uh-huh.
So
hopefully better than that.
Oh, it's so much better. While the CGI is still noticeable, the animation on like the spider character is so much better. It's so expressive and cute, and it actually makes a spider that you want to hang out with and not crush with your shoe. But there is a little bit of a problem here. So the whole story is that it's about this shut-in gamer girl who's not really popular at school. She gets isekai'd along with her class, and while the rest of her class are like one's a dragon character and the others are humans, she gets reincarnated as a spider. And a lot of the anime is about her surviving and becoming stronger, overcoming challenges to keep on living because, spiders and RPGs are usually on the lower totem poles of video game enemies. And it's really fun to watch. It's really well animated, actually. The action scenes are great and are all very creative because, you got a spider for a main character. Of course, you're going to take advantage of that. I do think the one thing that's holding it back is that it wants to focus on the human characters, and the human characters just tend to get the same kind of isekai storylines. And I think there was one, unfortunately, transphobic joke in there also, so kind of disappointing because apparently, I think from what I could gather from the dialogue, a boy got reincarnated as a girl and gets made fun of for that. And it's like,
Yikes.
yeah, that's disappointing. But it's only like one but that was like one joke.
Like
but
you
it's
could
still
control what he got reincarnated as, right?
Yeah, no control. So
Stupid.
yeah, but the one who makes the joke gets called out for it. So
That's good.
yeah, that's very nice. I will say the opening and the ending for this show are a little chaotic, so I guess make sure you have a room fully lit because a lot of flashing lights. But no, it's like out of the shows to watch and out of the ones that could have been like train wrecks, especially since, like I said, this is by the same people who made Berserk 2016 and 2017, which we all know gets made fun of because of how bad the CGI is. Even though there's like that one went through a terrible production history. So yeah, no, out of all the Crunchyroll exclusives, this is one of their better ones, and I'm kind of happy about that because for every X arm and every GB8, there's luckily a So I'm a Spider, so what?
There's another Crunchyroll one that we'll be talking about later.
Yeah, so now we're going to move on to the other Crunchyroll original, Dr. Rumune, Mysterious Disease Specialist. And a lot of people dunked on this one because of its production values, and I don't blame them. It's not the best animated. It looks a little rough. I think some characters are off model or inconsistent in height in the first episode, but for a show that's like, and I apologize because I misquoted the title of another anime I compared it to Pet Shop of Horrors.
That was the exact vibe I was thinking of when I was watching it.
And so yeah, it's about a Dr. Rumune who takes care of mysterious diseases like a girl crying mayonnaise and condiments, a man who has a bread item for a ding dong, or a guy who has talent fingernails made out of that are actual peppers, or a girl, or like dude, episode 5 and 6, a woman who has pork dumplings for ears.
I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't get a chance to see this because when you first told me about this premise, it sounded so bonkers, but in a way that could actually be pretty funny. And the ailments that you're describing are like the comedic opportunities are just so like they're pitched like right over the plate.
Yeah, and it's all like all the ailments have like commentary about them. Like the girl who cries condiments is an actress or a child actor, and her mom is very just abusive in a very mentally toxic way because it's like, you can't don't cry for real. Save those tears for your performances. So it's like she has nothing to cry, so she cries condiments, and then the guy who has a bread thing for a ding dong is a man whore. Let's just say what he is. And treats all the girls like idiots because you don't do that. Just be nice, guys. Come on. Or just be respectful. That's all I ask. And I'll spoil this for what episode 5 is about. The woman, and I said dumplings, but they're pot stickers, and she has them for ears. And let's just say it gets really dark with how she got them, and it has to involve a murder. Not her, but a family member. And it deals with how the pot stickers open up anytime someone talks, like specific sounds and words are made. and they get hidden within the pot stickers. Just kind of like it's a symbolic way of her not wanting to deal with a very traumatic reality.
I really like how this show handles the weight of the topics that it deals with. Like episode 2, where he's got some sort of bread roll thing as a penis. They're using the word chikan right and left in that episode, so I'm gonna just say what they said. I appreciate that it wasn't it wasn't an STD metaphor. It never got gross. It was always entirely about the way that he treated these women and how he basically had taken from him the only thing he was using in his life. Like it was an interesting way of approaching that didn't get into being, even though the joke is insanely juvenile, it didn't get into being puerile or lurid or even just shaming anything but the actual behavior driving what he did.
Yeah, and the one where the guy has peppers for fingernails, he's basically like, I'm really good at a bunch of stuff, but I feel like that's making a gap between my friendship with a guy, and so I'm gonna hide my talents. So so the fingertips are like talons of a falcon and whatnot. And I like that Ramune has a very offhand approach to taking care of this, because he's like, I'll give you what you need, but you need to solve this on your own. And not that he won't take like time to actually do his job, but there's always that debate of like, if you have all these solutions and all this power, why don't you just cut to the chase and do something about it? But it's like, what would that solve? It's kind of like with last season's Wandering Witch, where it's like a lot of people got hung up on that aspect. But I will say the animation's not great. I wish it was better. But I did like the introduction of the 2 other characters. This young girl sorcerer who's actually an old witch, just posing as a young girl. Not my favorite kind of trope, because it's like, but my favorite is the blind guy, because I love those kind of calm, quiet, awesome characters kind of thing. And I also love the opening to this song. It's really pump up, act awesome, and it's my hidden gem of the season.
I really wish that this didn't look like Digicarrot level crap, like because it's really solid. It just does not. It should have the budget that Jobless Reincarnation did.
Yes.
Like 100% to me, because the writing's there, there's emotion to it, there's heart to it, it's well put together. I like these characters. They're a little thin, but they don't really need to be the deepest characters right now.
No.
It's honestly like this is the kind of thing that it seems like a cool family show.
Yeah.
I just wish I really wish there was a little more money behind it, or if it's not money, time, I don't know. Whatever is that would have needed it to make it look nice, it needed a bit more of it.
Yeah, I think it's usually time, because I think a lot of anime tend to have the same budgets. It's all just about how it's accounted for and how it's spent. So now we have the other unfortunate sports anime to come out after a super popular sports anime, 243 High School Boys Volleyball. This one had the unfortunate outcome of coming out after Haikyuu. But for me, it's a more grounded Haikyuu. It's not as shonen-y. It's more realistic in its scenario and setting. And it's another one that has a pretty great opening to me. I'm not super fond of one of the main characters, and it's kind of hard to invest into him right away because he's really unlikable, and he may or may not have caused the kid to almost kill himself because of how that's the one real downside to having to invest into this, because I kind of like the other aspects about it, like the sport, the philosophy and playing behind it, but I think the characters aren't there yet. And I've caught up with all the episodes, and I'd like some of the introductions, like this really short guy who looked a little more designed to be like an older character but isn't, but is a lot more likable than the orange-haired character. But that's just me.
I know I made a joke about Bakugo earlier on in this show, but this show really is like this. I think it's taking that same character archetype and just pushing it too far. In terms of just the person who is just relentless in terms of their how they drive themselves. And those are my two problems with the show. I found I was actually on this show's wavelength pretty good for like the first episode and a half, regardless of orange-haired asshole and what he may or may not have done to that kid.
Yeah.
I liked the dynamic that he had now cultivated with the other lead. It was interesting, the central conflict between his cousin and the jerk kid. That was interesting to me. And then halfway through episode 2, it switches entirely to a school sports show. And the pacing goes off the rails, and it completely lost me at that point. Starts introducing a whole lot of characters. The third episode is anchored by 2 characters that were honestly quite boring. And that's where it really lost me. A show that needed to imitate Yuri on Ice, it should have been this one. They really need, like, we've got 4 or 5 solid characters right here. Focus on them. Make it all about them. Figure this out. Unspool this. As it is now, it's too cluttered now.
It's, from what I can tell, it's getting slightly better. They're focusing on the actual core set of characters. But that orange-haired kid is still the biggest sore spot. So if you want to watch something like Haikyuu, but not Haikyuu, sure. I actually rather watch the opening and such, because I thought the opening song was pretty bop. But let's actually get into the ones that I thought were the best of the season. So the ones that we can all watch. So let's start with Otherside Picnic. And it's based off of a novel and manga by Iori Miyazawa, directed by Takuya Sato, and produced by Leiden Films and Felix Film. It's a spin-off of the Roadside Picnic novel, which spawned the Stalker games, which is about going through a Holocaust, or just like a nuclear Holocaust world area of Russia, dealing with like mutations and bandits and monsters and whatnot. But it's about these 2 girls who go into a place called the Otherside, where they basically fight like supernatural like rumor mill creatures, like if you're into like folklore or rumor, like tall tales and whatnot, like the tall woman with the hat and such. They fight those kind of creatures. Like they probably fight like a Slender Man if they could. And I'm sure they will at one point. I was not fully on board with the show at first. Like, I thought the mystery element wasn't as great. And I'm sure, Haley, you'll want to talk about one of the characters soon. But by the 5th episode, I was kind of hooked onto it, and its horror elements were actually pretty good. I'm not going to say it's better than some of the other shows that we're about to talk about in the horror element side, but I kind of dug what this one was doing. There's definitely a lot to unpack with how this world works and the creatures that they encounter.
Yeah, I strongly disliked this, which is not a popular opinion, but I really could not stand the lead character. Like, I know we were just talking about the guy from the volleyball show. He's not great either, but at least he has the benefit of having interesting chemistry with the other lead character in that show. I cannot say it about the short-haired girl in this show. And I didn't notate her name for some reason. But she is relentlessly miserable. And
she's a wet sandwich. No.
And I'm sure the narrative will get into some point why she's like this, but it's hard to drop you into a show and media res when you're trying to understand the mechanics of a world, and you have 2 characters who do not seem to even be remotely operating in the same space. Like the other girl, who I wrote her name down. Geez, I think it's like Toriko or something.
Yeah.
The long-haired girl. Seems like she's coming from not only from a completely different show, but like whenever she's talking to the short-haired girl, it's like they're having 2 separate conversations at the same time. And I don't think that's what the narrative intended for you to feel. Because by episode 3, they clearly want you to feel like they're building some sort of bond that I could not parse or feel. And that these are your 2 characters.
Right.
So, and one of them is insanely dislikable, and the other probably enjoy in like a nisekoi style thing. She seems fine. But there's things just seem to happen because I'm supposed to be invested in their bond that they haven't bothered to establish from a writing perspective. And the other thing I wanted to bring up about the show is that it is sloppy looking. The background, the CG, whatever they're walking, it's CG, and it's like, it's distractingly bad.
No, it's not good looking. The CGI is not well used. It's not as it doesn't look as good as like the show we're going to talk about next. It definitely stood out. The other one, Sora, the one with the glasses, does become better by episode 4. She's like, okay, I got to stop being such a wet blanket, and their bond gets better. But man, there's a scene in the 5th. It's like either the 4th or 5th episode that just scared the crap out of me. And I was watching it at like 11:30 at night, and I work out in the studio that's outside, and it was like pitch black, and it's like nice that I decided to watch this at such a late time. Joy.
It does sound like something that does get better over time, which is good. If you're just doing the 3-episode run, it's not great. Yeah. I do want to say the ending theme is gorgeous. The song itself, probably my favorite of the entire season. Absolutely beautiful. And this is definitely not intentional on the part of the filmmakers, but huge parts of episode 1 look and sound like binaural beats videos you'd find on YouTube. It was incredibly hard for me to focus because I'm like, I go to sleep to this kind of stuff every night. And that's a lot of the horror elements of the first couple episodes. And it's like, that's definitely not on the creators, not at all.
No,
I can see where this show works very well for people who don't use those kinds of tones to fall asleep.
Yeah. No, it definitely has like the what's that? Annihilation kind of horror vibe to it.
Right.
So if you're into that, y'all might like this one. But yeah, you have to kind of get through the first few episodes. But that's why I like to judge things on a 3-episode or more, or like a 3 to 4 episode basis, because it's like, I think if you can make a solid argument that you're good right off the bat or within 3 episodes, I'll invest time into you. But otherwise, yeah, sometimes it might get better or it might get worse after the 3rd episode. It kind of depends, and that happens all the time. So let's talk about a very fun anime or at least one that I thoroughly enjoyed, Back Arrow, which is on Funimation. It's by Goro Taniguchi, who directed and I think created Code Geass. Was written by Kazuki Nakashima, who wrote the script for Promare. And
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's the one major giant mech anime, and it's a lot of fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously, which I think is the downfall of a lot of mech anime, when they're just too darn like the world is dark, we're grown-ups, we don't have fun. This one's just like, you want to see a bunch of robots fight? Yeah, we do too. We want to watch them fight. And it has this cool world building where this whole continent is surrounded by a giant wall, and they think there's nothing else outside of that wall. But the main character supposedly says he's from the other side, and he wants to get on the other side of that wall. Now, instead of like guns and tanks and whatnot, a lot of the conflict is dealt with these ring things that you put on your arm, and you have a resolution, and then you get to pilot a giant robot suit. And what's interesting is like the quote unquote evil dynasty have this kind of interesting China dynasty look, while like the towns around them have a Western Wild West look in their motif, which I'm wondering if there's any commentary about that, because I feel like that's a very specific thing to do, because like two of the girls are dressed like cowboy. Well, a lot of the characters are dressed like cowboys, and I don't care if this thing turns out to be super dumb and lacks substance. I just like a good, fun action anime, especially when their main character has no name, walks around nude for a bunch of the episode, and then finds out that his name when like one of the characters says, like, Bakano! And he's like, and he mishears it. It's like, that's my name. I'm going to call myself Back Arrow, instead of, what he was being called, an idiot. And I had a lot of fun watching it. It's action-packed. The robot designs are really cool and slick-looking. And I like all the characters, or at least a lot of the characters introduced so far, especially with the main character and some of the villains. It's a show that looks like it knows what it wants to do, and it doesn't seem like it's going to pull a Big O season 2 where it becomes such dour philosophical quandaries. But that's just how I felt about the show.
Yeah, this is solid. This is prime 2000s nonsense. Like, it's great. I don't have much to add the only thing I'd like to see in the future, and it looks like they're going this way now that they're on the flying fortress ship, is the women get pretty shafted pretty badly in the first couple episodes. Like, they're great characters, but in terms of fighting, like Atlee does not do anything remotely of value and has to be saved multiple times.
Yeah.
And and Elsha falls in a hole.
Yeah.
So, but now that she's like the captain of the fortress, I'm sure we're going to actually start getting more of that stuff. So it's not really a critique that I would normally, it's not a critique that I feel like has the same kind of weight if you were to say, unless you were to say it about, or not unless, but definitely not as strong a critique as I would give to something like Sk8 leading stars, where it's like there's literally no women in this at all. But I think it's got a really nice peppy Gurren Lagann energy to it.
That sounds exactly my jam.
It's really fun. The characters are great. The pacing is really well done. Like, we don't have a full view of what the show is going to be until the end of episode 3, and that's great to me. Like, they don't rush it.
Yeah.
It all works very, very well. The voice acting is great. I have trouble sometimes with samey voices, especially when you're watching stuff over and over and over again. No one really sounds like that, especially the guy playing like the head of the evil, or not evil, the kind of weird researchy house.
Yeah.
Who's always in a kimono. His voice is fantastic. Whatever that guy's doing, he's great. But yeah, this is also the girl playing Princess Pinky, which is what I wrote her name as, and that's not her name. But there's definitely a Princess Peach-like character who's very ethereal and had a voice that was adjacent to what I was expecting, but still different, which I appreciated. But this is a lot of fun. I knew I was going to come back to this one once we wrapped all this up. Definitely, I don't think it's going to change the world. It's not going to take some hard left turn into Evangelion status, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah, no, I'm down for that. So our next one is probably the big surprise of the season, Wonder Egg Priority, a original anime by Cloverworks, directed by Shin Wakabayashi and written by Shinji Nojima. Content warning, there's a lot of symbolic and suggestive elements of suicide. So just if you're touchy and very sensitive about that subject, just go in, because that's a major plot element to the show. So just viewer discretion is advised. Outside of that, this is a really good mystery show. So who watched this show?
I watched this. This was like the last one that I watched before we recorded, and yeah, this is nothing like I was even remotely expecting. I'm not even sure exactly what to make of this. All I know is that I'm just really invested in the mystery of this all, and I think like the dream sequences with those red like smiling like creatures that are attacking.
Oh gosh, those things are creepy.
Yeah, that's very much the kind of nightmare fuel that that's terrifying, but you love to see in shows like this.
It's why animation is such a great medium, because you can make stuff like this, and I think it's handling its topical subject matter very well, because it's about these girls who want to bring someone back, and they're told through this weird little sub world where they're like, take an egg, go to sleep, crack the egg inside the dream world, and make sure you protect that person, and basically essentially take down the symbolic element of what that's connected to why that person in the egg died. And it ranges from abuse, molestation, and it's creative of how they handle it, because they definitely show like the person, like the source of the trauma, and then they just go into action anime mode and take them out. And it's a very Persona kind of way of handling it. And but it's handling it well with respect. It's not like just throwing it. It's not just doing it because it's like, oh, this sounds edgy and cool. No, it has a message. It obviously has a direction that it wants to go in and have a conversation about. And I like all the girls in this show. They're all very different and diverse, and not just looks, but personalities and mannerisms.
Yeah,
And a fun
that's what I like too. They all had their own like they all had something that made them special.
Yeah, and a very cool thing about this show, and well, we have two shows this season that have very good sorry, I'm trying to look, where is it? Here we go. Have LGBT representation, very positive elements to those. Because in the fourth episode, or it's either the fourth or the fifth episode, like if you look at the promotional material, that you see there are four girls. You have our main girl with the blue hair, the one with the tan skin and the hair, brown hair, the ex-idol girl with the blonde hair,
Mhm.
and then the one with the red hair. She's trans, and they handle her very well. And it's very it's very refreshing, because sometimes anime does not have the proper representation and such, because there's a lot of mean-spirited jokes that come from that kind of stuff.
Which is kind of ironic, because like there's a lot of yaoi and yuri anime, except not all of that is not all of that is handled gracefully
Citrus.
in other shows.
Yeah. And it's like, I just like these characters. And of course, the monsters they have to deal with are very creative and just cool looking. They're very, like I said, Persona kind of looking monsters. And the animation just looks great. Cloverworks did some of the best animation this season, because they're behind this and Horimiya.
Mhm.
And I hope I said that one correctly. And the opening is also kind of like misleading of how there's like it's not misleading. It's very like off. I guess like it catches you off guard. It's very peaceful, and then it's like, and also there's like a good mystery involved, because it's like, what happened with this main girl? Why did she leave school? What happened to her friend? And they're kind of building up that the teacher that keeps coming over may have had something to do with it. It's not subtle, but it's like, it kind of gives you like something happened.
Mhm.
And it's one of my favorites. I just love it. And the action anime is so good. It feels like something Science Saru or Studio Trigger did. And it actually uses CGI very well, because you can tell those little smiling creepy things with the knives and such are CGI, but it's handled well. So
I definitely was very into this as well.
Oh yeah.
I really like that this show starts legitimately with someone basically saying, "Can I offer you an egg in this trying time?" I was not sure what to make of this early on. It's got an interesting Ghibli meets Madoka vibe to it.
Yeah.
I think that it's spinning a lot of plates. I think so far it's really working for me, but it's going to be, with what they're handling, it could be very easy for them to make a misstep that would send us all crashing down. And I think that's why I'm more reserved on it.
Oh yeah,
like,
no.
I really like the way they're handling the redhead girl right now. With what little we know about her friend, though, things could go south. I think my biggest fear is further exploration of Rika, the ex-idol girl. She's easily the most mean-spirited of all the girls. I don't think the things she did are all that forgivable.
No.
And it's clear that she has issues with it, but I think they need to be explored better. I'm still here for this show, and I know a lot of people are upset about a line in episode 4 delivered by the creepy mascot people, or the
those people are creepy.
They're creepy, and I don't think you're supposed to side with them, but they basically say something along the lines of, well, you know, women are better for this because they're more emotional, or something along those lines. And I don't think we're supposed to be taking stock in those characters.
No.
Like, I don't know if you would take stock in a talking bug that turned into a mannequin that seems to be doing its best Masaki Suda impression.
Yeah.
But like, no, but if the show starts leaning into some of these things, this could end up falling apart very badly. I don't think it is right now. I've seen up to episode 4. I think it's doing a really great job. Reminds me of a manga called Genkaku Picasso a bit, in a way, as well, which should absolutely get its own anime.
Yeah.
But it's doing all the right things so far. I think it just needs to be very careful about how it proceeds.
Yeah, no, there are definitely a few lines that remind me of the guy who directed When Marnie Was There, saying like, women just aren't good enough writing fantasy stories. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry, what? It's like, what the hell did you just say? But but they do kind of counterbalance it by just saying like, just don't rely on gender. Just because I think they were referencing the trans girl because because obviously the stuff that comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just saying like, don't worry about it.
Also, why would you trust the mannequins?
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust them with the 6-foot pole.
Yeah, I think if we're being like about like the other only critique I have is that like these girls are dumb for trusting those guys. Like I don't would you? Like this seems like but I'm sure that's going to play into the story at some point. So it's not again, it's like it's like the women in Back Arrow. I'm like doesn't bother me that much, but like come on guys.
Yeah.
It's giving me vibes of Psychopaths. It's like exploring a lot of themes about like vengeance and like righting wrongs and all of that, and with that mystery where you kind of don't know what's going on, but it's a good focus on characters. So definitely gonna watch this one.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be a really sad ending to this. Just basically saying like, hey, congrats, you did all this. They're not coming back.
Yeah,
because you can't bring them back. I don't know. Could this show work if they were able to bring back their significant other or their friend or whoever they wanted or whoever died and they want to bring back? Like
if they do that, they need to be very careful to not cheapen their deaths.
Yeah,
because like Haley said, this could easily go wrong if like they trip over themselves.
Mm-hmm. I would say it would need to be something as planned out and on the level of how Horimiya ends up saving Monica. So like it would have had to, it's something that they've needed to lay the groundwork for since the beginning. And maybe they have, but it would absolutely take some serious work to do it right.
Right. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that one. I hope it makes the landing. It's probably going to be the one I'm going to be the most mad about if it flops.
Oh yeah.
So let's move on to suppose a kid from the last dungeon boonies moves to a starter town. Long title aside. This is based off of the light novel and manga by Toshio Sato. It's directed by Migmi and produced by Light In Films. It's a fantasy show, not an isekai. Don't say it's an isekai. And it's about this young boy who's like, I want to be a knight. And it's like, I'm going to leave town and go to this place and become a knight. And well, the twist is he's considered the weakest boy in his town, except his town is located to the very final dungeon. So he's unaware of how stupidly strong he is. And it's like if Saitama from One Punch Man did not know how strong he was. And he basically goes into this town, knows about all these strong magic stuff, and like has immense strength. Like they have these giant grasshoppers that invade the town for the first few episodes, and he just like punches them and then picks them up and just tosses them into the sky, and they just go flying off like Team Rocket in Pokemon. And I just found this anime funny. Like this is the fantasy anime of the season for me. Like,
oh yeah, I don't think it's got any competition really.
Like, I love how humble this main character is because it's always so easy to make a terrible story with an overpowered character who knows that they're overly powered. But it relies on his interaction with the other characters. Like we have a witch who supposedly is a princess who bailed on the kingdom for some reason. Then you have a belt princess, who wants to become a knight, but has a cursed belt all over her face that the boy ends up taking care of and making the belt magical. As a result of all that, a thief girl with a cool magic armored arm, and then a royal snob who's actually not the worst character of the bunch, or like he's not as bad as you would think he is, but it's all played for laughs and it's not taken too seriously. And one of the things that I like about this show is the main character fails at first. He doesn't get in as a knight, but only because everyone else is so incompetent at their jobs that they didn't realize the answers he wrote down were actually super ancient scrolls and tomes and such. So there's like, wait a minute, he passed. We're idiots. And I think one of my favorite aspects of this is that so far it's handling the yandere character very well, because the belt princess, ends up falling in love with the main character because he cured her of the curse. But I feel like the jokes work on her, and I love her animation. Like when they're all waiting to take the test, the thief girl is talking to the main character, and then she gets hip checked by the princess into a wall. And it's just like, and she's like, "Oh my god, you're here! I can't believe you're here! Oh my gosh, I love you!" And then the thief girl tries to crawl away, and then the princess just grabs her and looks at her, just like, "You better not be getting at him, or else I will bury you 10 feet into the ground." I love you, boy. And
what's funnier, this or the sleeping princess?
oh, that's tough. I think Sleepy Princess is funnier, but this one is right up there. At least I found it really funny. Haley, what did you think?
I also found this show very funny. I haven't gotten past episode 3, but the lead really reminds me of going way old school, Tenchi Masaki. And this feels like a very Tenchi Muyo harem, where half the harem is not a harem. They're just there. They're just stuck with this loser. And I think that's what makes it great. Like you've got this yandere nonsense belt chick, but like the thief's not into him. The thief is just appalled by his evil power aura. Yeah. Like the princess, who's also a witch, is just stuck with this guy because Lolly Grandma made her do it.
Oh,
I think the only misstep in the show is Lolly Grandma. She's
the weakest character.
She's weak, and in episode 3 she gets real creepy, and I'm not here for that kind of stuff. I don't like that stuff. It annoys me as much as the little sister crush stuff. I'm not here for that. But
no, me neither.
It was a very small part of episode 3, so if it just doesn't pop up again, whatever, we can skate past it, because the show is very funny. It's not it. I was worried about it becoming like a hidden dungeon, but so far it's literally just it's Saitama, who doesn't know he's strong, surrounded by a bunch of women who don't want to be in this guy's orbit or could care less, and also are dealing with Belt Chan. She's great, by the way. I love that her introduction was basically being yelled at for having a stereotypical anime character design. Like, that was just like pricelessly beautiful meta joke. Like, you're making us all look bad by wearing that belt on your head. I'm like, she passes for normal, and a dot hat sign spin off or whatever. Yeah. Like, I love that. Like, it's very and the physical comedy timing is excellent. Like with Belt Chan checking the thief into the wall. Like, I was actually talking to Cameron about that joke, where it's like, if that was timed poorly or anything else, that would not have been funny. But I burst out laughing because she came straight up out of nowhere to basically body slam this girl into a wall. And I'm like, this is great. I don't know what stuff this team has done before, but I think they have a pretty good grasp on what's actually funny. This show does not get into screaming as a joke, which is great for an anime. The show actually has jokes, and then subtle jokes like the fact that Belt Chan's being yelled at for having a belt on her head. And it works really well. And the story around it is kind of weak, but you're not really here for the story. It's kind of like who's watching One Punch Man for the story arc. Like,
definitely.
No, that's the thing. And to answer your question, Teresa, it is not done by the same people who do Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? I almost assumed it was.
Okay.
But this one, the people who worked on that did not work on that one. I will say, like, by episode 4, when they're going into, like, the demon lord is like, I took over the king and I'll take over the kingdom and turn everyone into bug people. And it's like, nobody cares. Like, that's not the actual, like, conflict. Mm-hmm. And, like, the witch princess is just like, now I need the lolly grandma's help. Great. God dang it. Now I gotta go find her. But you stay here. And the demon king lord is like, well, wait a minute, what about me? I'm trying to take over your kingdom. And
that princess is so Kione. Like, this show is it's got a lot of those Tenchi Muyo beats, and they're classic beats, but they're great beats, man.
Oh god, it's so funny. And then, like, one of the I'll say this, one of the guys, one of the teachers turns into a bug person, and it's like, there's actually like, man, I turned into this bug person because I wanted to save my town. I wanted to be strong. but our doofy idiot hero is just like, you drank too much during the party. This is why you're like this. And it's like, everyone's like, oh God, dang it. You are too stupid for your own good, buddy. And it gets solved so easily. And then in episode 5, we're introduced to some more characters that could have been harem or like connections, but they're not. The one of them is like this magic user who uses martial arts. And it's like the fact that like the main character was able to block her kick. She's like, train me. like she wants to be like a pupil and such to his strength. And it's like, what do you mean? And it's funny when they're trying to learn healing magic, the guy with the axe, he's like, hey guys, what y'all talking about? And then the belt princess is like, oh look, someone to volunteer to be hurt by us, and then just kicks him in the spine down a flight of stairs. And he's okay, but it's just so funny. Like I hope this one just stays funny. I could watch this show easily. It's easily the one I look forward to every Monday when it comes on. So Kimono Jihin is our next one. It's based off of the manga by Sho Aimito, and it's directed by Masaya Fujimori and written by Noboru Kimura, and is produced by Aigia Do Animation Works. I didn't know anything about this. I never read the manga, never heard of it before, and I went into it, and it's our pseudo shonen horror anime of the season. Not on the same level of Jujutsu Kaisen from last season, but it's about this kid who has this little life stone around him, and he gets picked up by this investigator who turns out to be a tanuki, and then he comes and lives with the tanuki detective to help take care of these mysterious crimes and situations and such. And there's a boy who has like part of a spider powers. There's a boy who has ice powers, and then recently we meet a vampire. And then there's a fox girl, because of course you have to have one in these kind of shows.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like this show. I like the characters. I like the commentary behind some of this stuff. There are some elements that could be taken the wrong way, like the one who can use ice powers. I thought was a girl at first, but she's based off of one of those old Japanese yokai folklore about like the beautiful maidens in blizzards and such that either kill you or fall in love with you. But it just so happens that this boy is just super pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily it seems like none of the jokes are at his expense. But it's definitely kind of interesting to see where that one goes. And the boy who like with the little stone around his neck is like a super powerful demon, but it's like there's definitely a mystery about who he is. And what's interesting is like they do have a few yokai folklore connections, like the tanuki do not get along with the fox demons, the kitsune or whatever they're called, and the kitsune run the police, but since kitsune are mischievous and whatnot, that they put all the people working there under a spell. And it's very interesting. I really like the commentary on some of the episodes of what they have to deal with. And the 5th episode is really creepy. Let's just say if you've seen that sci-fi original movie Man Sk8, that's what they're encountering next.
Interesting.
Though I do kind of question if it's a little mean-spirited to make these yokai in this episode women, because they're bloodsuckers, that kind of thing. Yeah, so it's like but it's still creep. But the horror elements are still very creepy. So I'm there for that. I'm not there for that kind of stuff. But Haley, did you see this one?
I did. I really think the pacing on this is the strongest of anything in the show in this season.
Yeah.
I like that we took a whole episode to find out where our lead is from, what he's getting into, his existence so far, the environment he was raised in. Like this, I don't think many shows would take that time to do this. And it really helps sell you on the actual concept of the show, which is a bunch of small children fighting yokai, which is not a thing that I would normally be watching at all.
No.
Without that first episode, I probably would have been sitting here like, well, okay, Naruto, but with Japanese folklore monsters, that's fine. And it does taper off a bit for me because of that.
Mhm.
Although I really liked episode 3, I like
Yeah.
the introduction of a conspiracy element, and the element, not a conspiracy element in that the Sailor Moon villain that is Inari and her Kitsune associate are running the police. And I, like you were talking about, the different, the yokai hierarchies, clashings, whatnot. And it keeps it grounded in an adult world. And I mean adult as in a more threatening world that the kids are unaware of. And I like that. So I'll probably stick with it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's just usually not into these
like shonen. Yeah.
This is I like shonen stuff, like depending on it. Like I love My Hero Academia, and this is kind of in that same vein.
Yeah.
I think that I like this better than Demon Slayer. But it's not something I would have sought out on my own, and I think they're doing a really good job of grabbing people that normally would not watch something like this.
Yeah. Teresa, did you see this one?
Yes. Yeah, I loved it. I thought I love yokai stories, demon folklore, and all of that. So I was really into it. The beginning gave me vibes of like Blood Plus, of like
that's a
having
good
the
one.
power and it like emerging, but like fighting demons is kind of like all they have like left because of their like family situation. So I really like that. I don't know, it's always good, like orphan child with powers, figuring out their life. I love that storyline from like Blade. And I definitely like the whole first episode. I thought was like perfect. And like it was kind of hyped up on that roundup video, but I feel like it really landed. And definitely how the first episode ends with the new characters introduced. I thought it was really great, and yeah, I'm gonna definitely stick with it and give me more, fighting demons with like kind of fun commentary. I felt like the adult character, the detective, I feel like his father figure, where it's kind of like reluctant father figure, I like.
Yeah, no, I also like that the Kitsune Fox girl and the main character kind of have I don't know if platonic's the right word, but it's not super romantic. Like they're not just like pairing them up to be the romantic couple. I mean, they are, but it doesn't seem like they're interested in one another in that way. It's just like the Kitsune girl just likes that the boy treats her with respect and kindness, whereas the like you said, Haley, the Sailor Moon villain.
Yeah.
I mean, look at her. She wears a giant fur coat. She has back length pink curly hair. And she cut some dude's head off.
Yeah.
She's literally Kaolinite, except in the police station.
Yeah. But I just love the opening song to this one. I just feel like it has a different beat and rhythm to it than most anime songs do. I like the whoa kind of element to it, and that gets me pumped. And I can't wait to see what they do with this new kid. Like they introduce a new Kitsune character in this recent episode, and the vampire character is a little interesting because he's not bad, but he's not good either. But yeah, no, I really like this one. But let's talk about the best anime of the season, Horimiya.
Yep. Even though I've only seen even though I've only seen one episode, because that's all I had of the simuldub. For that one episode, it's probably one of the best first impressions of an anime I've seen in this kind of sort of slice of life genre. It's one of the few romantic comedies that I've seen that, as I kind of described in my notes, it says the quiet parts out loud. Like our two main leads, like they get to know each other outside of school, and like they pretty much get to know each other like as the real, like the personality that they are on the inside. Before they really get a chance to talk like in public, and that's something you don't see often.
This anime feels like it was written by the people who made like A Silent Voice or like Liz and the Bluebird. It has a very Kyo Annie kind of feel to it, and it's not Kyo Annie, it's Cloverworks. And I'm a sucker for a good romance anime. I'm so upset that the ones coming up next season look so terrible. Just put it mildly. But with this show, like, it feels grounded. They don't treat them like they feel like teenagers. There's pettiness, there's arrogance, but it's all grounded. It's not played up as much. And I like all the characters so far. Like, I think how they pace the story is so well done. And man, it's a gorgeous show to look at. I love the sequence where he's trying to go get, like, I think the lead girl's brother to go pick him up and such. And he's like running, and you see the slow-mo of like taking off the necktie and the glasses and such.
He's not getting his her brother. He's getting the eggs.
Oh yeah,
the eggs were on sale
eggs.
while she was at a
probably doing something for that awful twin tail girl.
Oh god. No, but I do love the comedy of it, where it's just like, I'm leaping over the fence, and then there's the short-haired blonde girl, and she's like, "Whoa, what the hell?" It's like, "Oh, bye, boom." Teresa, what did you think about this show?
I wouldn't say it was the best one, but I thought it was really good.
I was being hyperbolic.
But I love the animation. That's great. I love romance books. I work at a romance bookstore part-time. I love, these stories. I love like a slow friendship that's going to blossom type arc that we're going for. And I just love those like moody loners, like at school they're one thing, outside of school they're another. So all the outside of school parts are my favorite parts.
Yeah. I've been following up with the show. Like, I'm on episode 5, and there are just really good sequences. Like, there's a moment where the main girl is sick, and the lead male doesn't really know what to do. So he's just like, I think I'm just going to let you be in rest. And there's like a detachment issue with her. Like, she doesn't like that because her parents are gone most of the time. And she's just like, where are you going? Like, where are you going? And he's just like, I'm going to be right here for you. And I just love how it's handled. I just love this kind of stuff. And it's also really funny. And I do love, like, when over that misunderstanding, I think the second episode with the student council president. And I love how the main character just walks up to him. The student council president's like, huh, what's up? And he's just like, he grabs him by the necktie, and then just headbutts him. And everyone's like, whoa, what? And it's like, okay, are you okay? Did you do that? Yeah. Ow, but yeah. And there's in the fourth episode, there is kind of one of those generic, like, miscommunication things where it's just like, oh, where's the two leads? Where are they? Oh, they're going to do something. Doing what? And it's like, oh no, they're getting soda. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I'm looking here, and the script writer has done some really interesting things. He wrote they wrote the script for Rave Master. What's the series composition for High School DxD?
Interesting.
Elvin Lied, which is really interesting. Golly, this is really interesting if you look up Takao Yoshioka. And let's see. But no, it's just I call it my favorite anime of the season just because it connected with me more. And I love this stuff. I really hope this doesn't turn into another Seeing Yesterday for me where the ending just falls flat. But we'll have to see. Apparently the manga it's based on is really popular. So hopefully they do it well.
This is sorry, go ahead, Teresa.
I was just saying it's on Hulu already. Like, it's one of the few ones that they have that airs as it airs everywhere else. Mm-hmm. And that's why I got to watch all of it. And I those ones, I feel like they only get, like, My Hero Academia and stuff like that. So they're really they probably had to buy into it to make that happen.
Right.
Mm-hmm. This show is what I wanted Nisekoi to be when it was animated. So Nisekoi was, I can't remember who did it, but they added a bunch of really unnecessary, florid, distracting background work to that whole show, which is a show that's just like it's just a sweet, weird mafia infused harem show that I liked the comic for, but it was all over the place in terms of its visual presentation. Horimiya is like the exact amount of stylizedness that a show like this needs. It's not distracting. I really like when in certain moments, and not always the moments you'd expect, the camera kind of pulls back and you get the characters in full frame, and then they have like a colored silhouette of themselves kind of fading out to emphasize what they're saying.
Oh,
and
yeah.
A lot of the times it is like pivotal relationship speak, but it's not always that. So it's interesting to see where they apply these kinds of stylizations. Everyone's kind of already covered why this show is great, but I really wanted to point out that it looks beautiful and they know when to pull back and when to emphasize certain shots, which I think becomes a problem with romance anime. They can either look just nice, but nothing really special, or like a Nisekoi thing where it's like the background is changing into neon shapes every 3 minutes. And you're just like, what is happening?
Yeah. No, it's just a great show. And I'm so spoiled now because I'm going to grade every other romance anime that comes out after this.
I totally understand why. And just like the next anime we're talking about, this is one I'm excited to actually try to keep up with every week.
Yeah. So speaking of, let's talk about Sk8 the Infinity, or Sk8 the Infinity.
I've been calling it Skinfinity.
I think that's pretty understandable, especially if you've seen what happens in episode 4 and 5. Whoa, golly. Anyway, this is the original anime by directed by Hiroku Utsumi, who did Banana Fish and the Free franchise. Written by Ichiro Okoichi, and is produced by Studio Bones, who animate My Hero Academia and other things, of course. But that's, of course, what modern anime fans would know, because I don't know how many modern anime fans know that they also animated the Cowboy Bebop movie. So
I do.
Yay!
Yay!
So for a sports anime, this is the best one of the ones that we've seen this season. And I know there aren't that many of them, but there's definitely a lot more of them next season. But I really liked Sk8 Infinity. But let's see, Haley, you go first.
I was gonna say I loved this too. This is probably my favorite of the season. It's between this and Horimiya with a chaser of Sk8 leading stars, because that's just a bunch of stuff calculated to make me happy. But Sk8 Infinity is incredible. Like, the relationship between the leads, the way it's established, is fantastic. I really liked the simuldub of this. For context, I could not get this series to display English subtitles for me for about a week. It was displaying them in Spanish, which is cool, but I don't speak Spanish. And
Funimation,
the first thing I was able to get to work was this, either this morning or last night, the simuldub of this. And I'm picky with dubs, very picky, and this was extremely well done. Like, it feels like in parts of this first episode, like when Longa gets introduced to his class, it feels like this thing was written in English, which is extremely impressive. That introduction he gets with his teacher is hysterical, but also flows in a way that does not seem like it was written for a dub. And it was probably written somewhat similarly in the Japanese, but the way that the language pops, the banter, especially in a COVID environment, to get a simuldub where it feels like people are bantering is unbelievable. And just so much about this works so well. It looks great. These characters are really fun. And even the mean-spirited one, the Shadow, he's comically mean-spirited. It's nothing about this feels ominous or painful. This is bright. This is happy. It's very shonen in the right ways. I feel like we've got this guy Longa and his friend Reiki, and Longa is a former snowboarder who gets kind of drafted into this pseudo rollerball underground racing world of skateboarding, and manages to not completely embarrass himself in the first episode. So the follow-ups are him kind of learning how to actually be a skateboarder and not just a guy who kind of lucked out one time. And it's great. Like I all of my notes are just things that I loved about it. Like the ending theme has some serious like Ed Sheeran BTS energy, which is great. Like
That's true.
It sounds like Make It Right. The OP is amazing too. Like even like the background stuff, like there's not a whole lot of women in this show, but the girls' uniforms at their schools are super well designed, even though you see them in the background for seconds. Like a lot of thought was put into this show. And I know I'm rambling about it because I really enjoyed it. But I only got to episode 3, and part of that's because I want to watch it as a simuldub because I was that impressed with that.
Yeah.
But like it's got great characters. It's a fun plot. That first episode does a great job of selling you on the show before kind of pulling back and being like, okay, now we're going to teach this guy how to do skateboarding. Right. And I really like the dynamic of the two leads. It feels comfortable and it feels friendly. It feels like friendship, and it doesn't feel like it's trying to bait me to think that they're romantic leads or whatnot. Because as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to do that, go big or go home. Like make them attracted to each other from the word go and actually give me something. But I like their strong friendship. I'm pretty sure the cherry guy and the waiter are in some sort of like hate-love relationship thing.
They have to be.
That dynamic is odd, and I love it.
It's like they have angry sex sometimes. So
yeah, basically. I think the lead villain's got some straight up Persona ripoff vibes. And I think that's really the only 2 minor complaints I have are like this lead villain dude seems generic in a Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh kind of way.
I see that.
I'd like to see where that develops. That's not really a negative so much as just
no.
And same kind of deal, like the female characters that are here are really cool, like Longa's mom. I just wish there was more of them.
Before I talk about it, Teresa, what did you think?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved their like blossoming friendship. I really loved like I felt like I was skating with them, so the animation and the movement was just like so spot on, and I always wanted to learn to skate, so I've like all those like lessons things. I was like, is this gonna rub off on me? Should I try again to skate in real life like in my late 30s? But then I also thought that the dub was really good. I watched the dub first and then followed up with the subs, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go back and rewatch them when the dubs come out.
Mike, what did you think? Sorry.
So I've only seen episode 1 of the simul-dub, and this show kind of feels like an anime written by someone who spent hours playing like the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, or like those I forget the name of that snowboarding series.
What was it? SSX and or like Jet Set Radio.
That was what I was thinking of.
Yeah, it's basically Tony Hawk meets Jet Set Radio.
Yeah, no, I tweeted about that on Twitter, but yeah, keep going.
Basically, just everything that Haley said, I pretty much agree with. It's a sports anime that we don't really get to see a lot of like skate culture, but also in this like really like grimy underground setting. I love the kind of like the world building around this, like the culture, and Shadow is a great he basically he like perfectly represents like that twisted metal clown car. It's basically that, but as a skateboarder.
I love these characters, and I love that most of them have like personas when they go to the skating racing scene location. And I think my favorite out of the bunch, well, first of all, like I love that Joe, the one with the green hair, is this super buff chef, which I've never seen a chef that looked that jacked. But this is anime, so of course. But and I like Cherry Blossom and how he's like a tech person. And I think my favorite one though is Shadow, because you find out that he works at a flower store.
Yes.
And he's nothing like himself when he's there. And I love like he's looking at all the tweets and such. He's like, how dare they make fun of me? How dare they do? And his old lady's like, excuse me, young man, can you help me with these flowers? And he comes back up and he's like, of course, ma'am. Here I am. I'm going to look at all these pretty flowers that we got for you. And it's so funny. And I love that, like, you look at the main character, the one with the red hair, and you would think he'd be like the main focus, but he's not. Or technically he's not. From the episodes I've been watching, he's kind of like pseudo, like front, like pilot seat, but also back seat to the guy with the blue hair.
Based on the first episode, it seems like Reiki and Langa are like co-leads.
Yeah.
Like the pilot puts a lot more focus on him than on Langa, but then Langa's the one who's actually in the race. So it's like split focus in the first episode, but I'm interested to see like how that plays out as the series progresses.
Yeah, no, they're doing a really good job. They balance them out both. And the one with the red hair, he has an awesome mom. And one of the reasons is that she has a way different design than what most anime moms get. And it's like a little more realistic. It's kind of like how Midoriya from My Hero Academia, his mom is just like, oh my gosh, she's like realistic in a way. Like, but man, the animation is top notch. Like you said, Teresa, it's like you feel there, like you're there, just feeling them go by you at such fast pace, like at a fast pace. And it's also really funny, like not just the banter and such, but the dialogue is great. I love the sequence in episode 2 where the two leads are skating and they're trying to run away from a police officer. And the guy, the one with the blue hair, still doesn't quite get turning yet because he's so used to using a snowboard to turn. And he's just like, there's this moment where it's like, come on, you got to make this turn now. And he's like, his eyes, like the camera zooms in on his eyes. He's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then he just crashes into a wall.
Yeah.
And
What thing I love in the race sequence in episode 1, like he's trying to make his first turn. And one of the things he says is, oh, that's right, this has wheels.
That's actually a really funny sequence when you see Shadow just zoom off and then you see him just there. He's like, oh, right. And then he just starts slowly pushing himself, like he's crouching down on the board, using his hands to push himself forward. And everybody's like, are you kidding me? Just watching him. And it's an anime that represents why anime is so good. It's stylish. It's got its own personality. Like I can't think of an anime that's like this. And it's way better than Rocket Power. Like I wish I got this in Rocket Power back in the day, but that's just me.
Right?
It kind of vibes of like Dura Dura, but if without like they took out all the dark stuff and they just had kind of like rival like and made it lighter and like more fun in the city. I really like that.
Oh yeah. I will say the villain of this show, Adam, the Matador of Love. He's really he's kind of flamboyant, and I think he's gay. I mean, they're just kind of suggesting that he is because he kind of gets hooked on the what's the one with the blue hair's name?
Langa.
Yeah, Langa. You'll see what happens. He's actually really intimidating, very creepy as a villain, like imposing as a villain. So he does get better after the first few episodes, and the kid is actually very likable as well. I mean, he's kind of like what I wish the bottom tier character was with the game lingo, and like, yeah, I just can't think of a character I dislike so far. Everyone just has a good energy to them, and I'm sure that is because the main character is the same person who did Free, that swimming anime, and Banana Fish. So let's talk about our final anime of the season, Heaven's Design Team. Based off of the manga by Hibizao and Suta Suzuki. It's directed by Soichi Masui, written by Machiko Yokote, and produced by Asahi Production. This is the major comedy anime of the season, with probably my favorite gimmick of any of the anime this season. It's basically God's like, over these days I created the earth. I created fire, earth, wind, and water. And I'm going to create all the animals that live on there. It's too much. I'm going to outsource it. And basically it's up to this team of angels to come up with all the animals on Earth. And basically it's a freelance agency doing all the work. And I mean, it's not my favorite anime of the season, but it's one of my 5 favorites. I just found Heaven's Design Team to be creative and funny, and I liked the pacing of it all. Like, I like that it's just split up into a very Sleepy Princess and the Demon Castle ways, where it's just like 2 to 3 side stories and about them trying to create certain animals, and that's it. There's no real overarching plot to the whole show. It's just goofy antics, and I'm just kind of there for that.
Same. I think out of all the comedies, this is probably the funniest. It's also kind of unique in that at least I personally haven't seen a lot of anime that really try to balance the comedy with the education aspect. And something I said in my notes was, if for some bizarre reason Animal Planet starts if like Animal Planet starts like broadcasting anime, this would be like the perfect show like for their audience.
Yeah, no, I love like God is super vague. He's like, make something that flies but doesn't. And it's like, I'm sorry, what? What is this adventure game logic that you throwing at me? And I just think it's clever. Like, I love how they make a giraffe in the first episode where it's just like this long necked deer. And then it's like, well, yeah, but if you're going to make something with that long of a neck, it's going to need a giant heart. Though I think my favorite thing is, it's like people are like, so are they just going to make like magical animals or whatever? And then they give like real, I guess, pseudo realistic reasons why like a Pegasus couldn't exist. Which I just think it's funny where they say like a Pegasus would have to be muscular and just pooping all the time. Or like the unicorn, like too much calcium intake for the horn to exist, so it wouldn't really survive unless you make it really dumb. But even then, but I love like, or like make something that's cute but not cute, and then they make a koala because there are some things that are about a koala that are pretty like, oh man, that's kind of weird for something that's adorable looking. But that's just me. Haley, what did you think?
I thought this was cute. It was funny enough for me. I don't think I'm as like super pumped on it as you guys are, but I think it's a good show. I really like the kind of Oron looking styling, the very we spend most of our time in one room for this series,
right?
And the character designs more than make up for it, as well as the one episode where we went to the beach. We already had a beach episode. That was fun. I think all the styling is very solid in the character designs. I love that in the insect department is basically more socially adept Osumatsus. That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Like, can't figure out what their deal is, but good for them.
Yeah.
The running gag of God has spoken it gets better each time it's deployed. I feel like. I think my only real, I don't really have any complaints about it. It's fun. It's there, you know.
Yeah,
the hook is strong. Like, the narrative hook is strong.
Yeah.
It feels like it's missing like one little thing that would keep me coming back the way I've been watching Horimiya every time it drops.
Yeah, no, I understand. There's not like an overarching goal to keep you going. It's just skits. It's like watching a much better Saturday Night Live every time.
True. And like, there's definitely some sketch anime shows that have figured that out, like Nichijou and Azumanga Daioh, I think, are the gold standards for that kind of show. Maybe if you're being loose with the definition of a sketch anime show, Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, but that's kind of off in its own weird world. But it feels like it's just missing like that spark. But for what it is, it's very good. My only complaint is that I think the opening theme is one of the most annoying songs I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, I kind of like it, but I understand.
I understand if you don't like it, but I think the opening's fine.
I like the animation in it. It's just I don't know.
I understand.
It was on, I was like, oh, this is still going. Oh no.
No, I understand. No, it's perfectly understandable. I will say one thing I do like about this show.
Mhm.
They don't try to lewd the female characters. Like, yes, the blonde secretary has a rockin' figure, but they don't do any like boob bouncing jokes or anything like that. Or they don't try to what's the term? Don't lewd the lolly character.
Yeah.
And I like that all the designs are distinct. You kind of know what kind of animals they create depending on who they are. And this is also the other show that has positive trans representation with the one in the purple.
Yeah,
And
Venus is really cool.
yeah, and I love their just chemistry and their dynamics. Like, and I think my favorite is the one with the sweater vest. I love him. He's mine.
The guy who designed the snake killed me. This whole thing about how the snake has no weaknesses, I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah. Well, then there's also the twistedness of like the guy who's like, I'm going to make sure everything tastes good before we okay it. Like, I'm going to eat everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say they do introduce the concept of hell in this, and it's also super funny. But yeah, if you're like this is like one you can come back to like from time to time, because it's basically the same setup of every show. They try to make an animal, it's shenanigans ensue, and then they make the animal. God has spoken. Everything's good.
I will say there is one sort of overarching theme. It's with the guy who is obsessed with making horses. Every single one of his attempts fails until he gets to the seahorse.
Oh, well, first of all, that beach sequence, I love that sequence. I love when they make the unicorns and then they all die because of they're just stupid. And then the big guy is holding a whale and he's like, "Hey, can I borrow one of these horns?" And then he makes a narwhal. And I just love that. And then like he tries to make one of those kelpie folklore monsters, and he's like, "Oh man, but I thought it would be cool." On the I love the mechanic, by the way. I love her, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, are you really serious about making that mermaid horse thing?" But Teresa, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I definitely love the mechanic. I agree with Haley that it doesn't have quite enough narrative to get me to like want to watch it as it rolls out. It's just a little bit repetitive. I do love the education. I loved all the marine animals. Those are my favorites. The narwhal's always my favorite. I actually had to tell someone that narwhal is real.
Yeah.
Like they were like, no, and I was like, no, I've seen it in a museum. It is real. So I thought that's great. You know, maybe something you watch like if you had kids. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, no, I think just in general, like a really good batch of anime to talk about at the end. And that wraps everything up. I think it was like the main goal is to like for these kind of podcast episodes is to talk about the new stuff, because there are 4 seasons of Attack on Titan. We're not going to talk about that. That would have been way too much to do, even on top of everything else.
We might do an episode event like in the future, just because that show and My Hero Academia are like the 2 biggest anime that are still ongoing. But overall, my favorite thing about these seasonal previews that we've done so far is that it's really just like broadening my my horizons in terms of like shows I wouldn't normally watch. Like I back in high school, I had like my first big anime phase where I was still mostly just watching like the big shonen series and the occasional the occasional comedy or maybe like a horror series. But this is really the first time that I've really just kind of explored all various genres.
Yeah, no, the winter 2021 season had like outside of the returning shows had a little bit of everything for everyone. Not for good idol fans, but you had good sports anime, good action anime, very deep philosophical anime. You had good comedies, you had good romance anime. It was really nice, and I'm glad to have you, Haley, and Teresa on for this, and it's really fun to talk with multiple people about this to get difference of opinions, and sometimes I might not pick up on something, and or like think about like how Wonder Egg could maybe end badly if they're not careful. But no, this was all a lot of fun. So thank y'all for coming on this podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Now, before we head out, where can everyone find you guys online? Teresa, why don't we start with you?
I am Teresa Electro everywhere. I'll put it in the chat too.
I actually don't really have a social media presence on Twitter or anything. If I keep showing up, I'll set something up so people can poke me and ask me questions about why one of my favorite series is Eye Shield 21 of all things.
No,
But
I understand.
instead of interacting with me, watch my favorite short anime this season, Pui Pui Molcar. It's about small anthropomorphic hamster cars. It's delightful and it's free on YouTube, and each episode's like 2 minutes long.
Nice.
Oh, that sounds great. I saw that first episode and it was super adorable.
I really hope that the people making that get their chance at a full-length series at some point in the future, because it's a very confident debut.
Awesome. You can find me on Twitter at CamsEyeView. I have my own website called camseyeview.biz where I review animated films called The Other Side of Animation. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/camseyeview, and I'm around a couple of different Facebook groups, and in the Renegade Pop Culture Facebook page, you can find me and I'll post animation stuff there from time to time.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at Captain K42. Check out my quick thought reviews on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. Find me in all the various Facebook groups just at my name. You can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. You can check out all of our podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And last but not least, check out renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we. That'll do it for this episode of Renegade Animation. We will catch you guys later. Peace out.
Bye.